and kind of drifts a little bit, sends it super wide, and I quick look over the shoulder. No one's there. I swerve, and then I go,
Was that the
you
cop
think that's who the cop was looking for?
Oh, shoot. Last year when I raced Pikes Peak, I was racing the GT4 category, and I think everyone in the world was looking at what Hoonigan was doing with their car, and then what Joey Seeley did with his project, which is based on a GT3R, a 2017 model, and an opportunity. He called me up and he said, "Are you racing again?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go back and defend the title, and I want to break the record." I was really strong about going back and breaking the record in the GT4 class. And he goes, "Well, why don't you consider racing the GT3R?" And it's quite a jump. And you're going from 420 horsepower to 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah. What's up, folks? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Off the Record, our favorite ticket fighting service. As I have said over and over, the idea that police give you tickets for how you drive and set it against a backdrop of safety is completely ridiculous. There are so many other factors that go into road safety. None of them have to do with fines. That is a financial ecosystem that you are participating in voluntarily by pleading guilty. Don't plead guilty. Go to Off the Record. They get those points off of your record. Off the Record will set you up with a qualified attorney in the jurisdiction in which you were ticketed. Big ticket, small ticket. It's got to be a moving violation. Doesn't work with parking tickets, but any moving violation you can think of, offtherecord.com/TST or code TST10 on the Off the Record app. And what they do is they'll set you up with an attorney in that area. They will fight that ticket on your behalf and get those points off the record. And if they don't do it, you don't pay them. It's that easy. All you got to do is snap a photo of the ticket or scan it, send it in, and they handle the rest. A lot of times you don't hear from anybody ever again until you get a thing saying the ticket's been dismissed. It's great. They'll go to court for you. You don't have to go to court. It is quite a good system. Every week I get a letter from one or two people about how stoked they are that I told them about Off the Record because they saved their backsides. You know what I'm saying? So, offtherecord.com/TST or download the Off the Record app and use code TST10. Download the Off the Record app and use code TST10. It'll get you 10% off all legal services from Off the Record. Just keep that app on your phone. Use that code to sign up. That way, if you get pulled over, you don't have to sweat it out. You know Off the Record has got your back. And of course, we're also brought to you by Dylan Optics sunglasses. You know those awesome sunglasses that I wear, Zach wears in every single video. Whenever you see us at an event, whenever we're out on the street, we're rocking the Dylan Optics. There are dozens of different frame styles and then a bunch of different colored lenses. The NIR polarized lens. Every pair of Dylan Optics has the high-end lens. There's no cheapy lens. They all have the good lens. They've even got prescriptions available if you need the prescriptions for the sunglasses. By mixing and matching frame style and lens style, you can end up with a very unique pair of sunglasses that almost no one will see you coming. You'll never see another person wearing the same Dylans as you're wearing. It just won't happen. I've been wearing these things for 10 years. It's never happened to me. I love the aviator style. I like the wraparound style. I like the Wayfarer style. They're all great. So go to thesmokingtire.com and click on that partners tab. And there's the Dylan banner. If you use that link to buy a pair of Dylan Optics sunglasses, we'll send you a free Smoking Tire t-shirt with each pair of frames that you order. So, thesmokingtire.com, partners tab, Dylan link. That's it. There's no codes to type in. It's just a trackback link, and we'll send you a free Smoking Tire t-shirt for supporting the people who support us. All right, folks, on this episode of the podcast, it's Steve Serio and Cam Ingram. Steve is a car dealer for life. He used to have the franchise for Aston Martin and Lotus up in the Boston area. Now he's a little bit of a behind-the-scenes guy. He helps broker seven-figure cars, deep in the six-figure cars, historically significant cars, and he's got some stories for us, and he's got big opinions that he has no problem sharing about a variety variety of topics. And Cam Ingram, who is the president of Road Scholars, which is a sales and restoration place for vintage Porsche and Ferrari in North Carolina. Cam is also a racing driver, runs at Pikes Peak, runs at some of the GT4 classes with his Cayman GT4s. And so we're talking about Porsche, we're talking about the collector car market, high end and medium end, and a whole lot more with Cam Ingram and Steve Serio on today's episode of the Smoking Tire Podcast. Just moving that Avis rental car, that was a terrible car.
It's terrible. It's
Right.
terrible. So
Isn't
imagine my surprise when I pulled up to
car.
the little spot yesterday and went,
Can you imagine that Infiniti was like, got all through product development and design, said, this is great.
This is the one.
This is the one.
Yeah.
This is going to do it.
That happens sometimes where I drive a car and I go, can you imagine that they decided to stop at
They
this?
said green light.
Yeah.
Green light that.
And right now, Zach read it, and right now I'm reading a book. What's David's book called? I'm blanking on the title.
Inside the Machine?
Inside the Machine by a guy named David Twigg, who is an engineer and a product, like a lead engineer for vehicle design, and wrote a book, and now he writes for the Intercooler with those guys over in England.
Oh, yeah.
And he led the project for the Alpine A110, the new one.
Yeah,
the new
yeah,
one.
that's
And
a
the
curious
Nissan
little car.
Qashqai, whatever it is. It's like the mini Rogue in Europe. And obviously there's like a lot of people and a lot of moving parts and a lot of compromises, a lot of regulations. And so I think reading that book gives me like a little more sympathy for things when it's like they don't always go the way you want. But sometimes you drive a car and you go, this is where you guys stopped.
This was the compromise?
Yeah.
well, we saw that last night. Did you drive the new Emira yet?
Yes, I did.
Do you like it?
Like it? Yes, I do like it.
You think anybody will buy it?
Yes, I
It's
do.
a hell of a bargain.
What's the demo? Who's
The demo is people who.
So you used to save this for the show.
This is the show.
This is the
Oh, this is the show. We were doing the show.
Oh, shit.
The people who will buy
We're
it.
talking about cars now.
Even I knew that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was like, I
The
love
thing I've
this.
said to everybody is, if you don't want
Smart
or
guy.
can't get a Cayman GTS or GT4, that's that. You know, like the McLaren 650 or the Mercedes AMG GTS was like the best car you could get if you didn't want a 458.
Right.
This is the best car that you can get if you don't want or can't get a Cayman.
So
or
as an
Boxster.
ex-dealer,
Yeah.
we would lose people when they would say, when they'd come in to drive the Evora, I love it, it's great. Okay, so why can't you close them? Well, I'm just going to go compare it to a Cayman.
Oh, you
and then
never
you just
see
go
them
like
again.
this. Buy,
Yeah,
buy. Let me know what color Cayman you buy. And last night when we had dinner with Hannah and Magnus last night, and Hannah had the car.
Oh yeah, she's got the blue one right now. Yeah.
That they couldn't deliver, I guess, a month ago or so to her because of whatever
Something.
quasi-mechanical, because door handles falling off, probably the shit they can never fix in those cars, shifter linkage things. But I said, what do you like? I like this, I like that. And Magnus said, I like this, I like that. He said, I don't like one thing. I said, what is it? The way it sounds. I said, well, no shit, it's a Toyota Celica motor.
I actually do like how it sounds.
And I
you hear it?
Yeah, the Whizzle. It's like kind of a
Well, you
Whizzle.
get some supercharger wine, and you don't like. All right, Serio doesn't like how it sounds, but I think it sounds pretty good.
I think the whole package is really compelling for
Yeah.
the price point.
Yeah.
The package looked great. A big improvement over the
You can
Evora.
get a car with Cayman GT4 speed at Cayman S price.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And it does look very exotic.
It
does.
rides better than a Cayman GT4
It does.
too.
The ride is pretty good.
More compliant.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still really agile. It's a
Yeah.
good mix.
Reminded me of the Corvette somehow by the profile. I don't know. I mean, I like the Corvette, and
I see McLaren Artura in it a lot. It's got some McLaren in it to me.
I love the greenhouse, the ergonomics
Yeah.
of it. All of it just resonates, and you can tell where all four wheels are. It's a
Yeah.
very nice package.
I think there's a lot to like about that car.
I'd like to drive
but,
it.
I've got a Boxster Spider, and I'm not trading
yeah, well,
you
that's one of the best products that Porsche ever made.
for sure.
By far.
GT4 and Spider are possibly the best car on
Most
sale right
underrated
now.
model ever made.
People are figuring out though.
I know.
My customers here, the heavy hitters, they're all buying them.
Right.
They're all trading out their Tourings.
Easy to drive,
and they're
fun to
buying
drive.
Spiders.
Yeah.
well, because where you go, it's why I'm selling my 911R. Where you have to drive it like your hair's on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I love driving it if I'm going 100 miles.
Yeah.
If I'm not going 100 miles.
Well, the roads are the same size as they've been for the last 50 years.
Correct.
The roads aren't bigger. The cars are bigger.
Yes.
So give me the car that fits the size of the road that we have to work with now, please. You know, the Spider and the GT4 are 997 sized.
Yes.
That is the right size. We don't need to be bigger than that.
Right.
Like, you can't fit more people in a 911 now than you could in 2009. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what I said about the
can't.
Emira last night. I said, tell me they didn't offer this in a 2+2 because they used to do that with the Evora.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
don't know,
like
it's not a 2+2
I couldn't find an
anymore,
optional
right?
back seat. No.
Yeah.
good because
Yeah.
that's just
You gonna put
nuts.
rocks on
It's
the
like
jump
my
seat?
Vanquish. It's just a well-cushioned luggage shelf, is what you know.
For the
what it
nicest
is.
of luggage.
Yeah, my Vanquish might have been the only one in history that where the back seat was used because Ralph Lauren is 5'3" or something, and someone could actually fit back there.
Put him back.
So he
right.
was sitting with the extendo pedals with the seat all the way up.
Yeah.
And there's somebody that could jam in behind
Yeah.
him.
No, I think the Emira it's a nice thing. It's just like just don't drive a Cayman first.
Well, or can you build that car now that you want to? Now that you've got a company behind you that is a little less probably sensitive to the bottom line, how many of them would you sell at $69,000? You'd sell
Sure.
every single one that came in.
Sure.
And that was
It
always
could be a loss leader for their SUV product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the. Have you heard about the multi-platform 40,000 units that they want to get to?
But I haven't paid much attention
Yeah.
because I don't give a shit. But
That's why I stopped
but
being
tell
a dealer.
us, but tell us, dealer.
No,
Lotus
ex-dealer. X 2.5 years ago,
Reason
ex-dealer.
ex-dealer.
I got rid of all of that, Matt. That's why my hair is thicker and my skin is
Your demeanor
glowing.
is
and
so
my,
nice.
well, I've
Now you spend all your time putting miles on your Speedster, and you're much happier
He's
for
not,
it.
he's not Barry Bitterman anymore.
Yeah. Is the best part about the retail sales business getting out of it?
Yeah, it's like owning a boat. The two happiest days when you buy it and when you sell it.
Yeah.
It had become thankless, and it's funny. I was talking to an old colleague from the Aston Martin world yesterday, and we were talking about that whole product, and I was looking for a Valkyrie, and we were laughing about the fact that they still haven't been delivered in the U.S. They're 5 years behind.
Sure.
And then he went down the road of how management is even. They're a bigger group of snipes now than they used to be because now that you've got Italians involved, and now you've got people that have come under the new ownership who are just grinding the eyeballs out of everybody to get stuff sold. And it's
Shocking.
like, you get 8 months worth of DBX on the ground. What do you think the problem is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the dealers.
Why do you want a Valkyrie?
I don't. No, a client.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I don't. No.
that-
Stop it.
But that whole concept has come and gone. I mean, what do you do with that? I mean, how many guys take that to the track to Willow Springs or, you know?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think anyone. I think people cruise them around Knightsbridge is what people do with them. I don't know that. And from what I've been told, the road car
Right.
is a nightmare on the track.
Right.
It's too much power.
Diabolical.
To put a road tire on it on a car that's really designed for slicks, you have to reduce the downforce to a point where the car is very, very hairy.
Yeah.
And then you've got the AMR Pro, which is requires a whole team to operate. I think there's 3 AMR Pros at Thermal.
Yeah.
And
Which, by the way, a lovely place.
Right.
Shout out to Thermal.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about a track that's not enough space for one of those things. Thermal's a Cayman GT4 track.
Yes.
That's not a fucking Valkyrie track. you need Spa for one of those things.
absolutely.
Silverstone.
Well, that's just it. And they can deliver those because in order to deliver them, you need a team of people. So you're not worried about day-to-day driving.
Right.
And yeah, you see a handful of road cars, I guess, have been delivered in Europe. Finally?
I mean,
Yeah,
according to Instagram, there are at least 4 or 5 of them running around Monaco and London.
Right.
But yeah, it's
The reality.
fortunately, it's not like someone's like, "Yo, my lease is coming up. There's a delay on my Valkyrie." I was gonna. Like, I've been waiting on this thing. I
had to paint
my
the
wife's
sample.
got to turn in her A4. Hurry the fuck up.
I got a PTS Valkyrie that we got a supply chain problem on the carbon disc.
Oh yeah.
I don't
You
feel-
just described like 3 Porsche problems at once. In that.
I
That was
just changed it.
It was
I just
very
changed it.
subtle.
That was impressive.
The PTS hold up, the carbon discs. You just fucking mashed all that and then blamed a different company.
I got my Sport Classic.
Oh
And,
yes, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, and a lot of people haven't.
How are you liking your Sport Classic?
That's why the R's going.
You said it's
Oh,
the best
really?
911.
Yeah.
It's the best
Really?
modern
Zach
911.
went to Germany and had a little go. I haven't gotten to drive one yet.
Well, what do you think? I drove it for a day. You drove it for more, I hope.
I've never owned a manual transmission 2-wheel drive Porsche Turbo, and I think again it's way more car for real-time driving. And to your point, that's why your car is more sensible.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably, along with the W12 Bentley, the most capable thing I've ever driven.
So
And
does the
it-
fact that it's like not really a GT car actually make it better?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, it does.
Have you driven one? Mm-hmm. You like it?
Love it.
Do you have one?
It's coming. He
Yeah,
got
his is coming. I've got Hippie Pete's is coming. A client's is coming. 2 clients' cars are coming. And I ordered mine last, and mine came first. And it was all
Clients are
they're all
happy.
like, "How'd you get your car?" I'm like, "Well, it was slate gray, so it was PTS. The tartan seats, so that was special wishes." I don't know why I got mine first.
Maybe they're doing the highest spec first and working their way
We're
down.
going to run down to the commoners,
to go back
to the plebeians.
Like you asked what the demo is for the Emira. So for you guys, have you driven other Porsche cars, rear-wheel drive turbo, like GTS or any of those?
Sure.
I love the GTS.
GTS is great.
Did you get Sport Classic? I mean, obviously it's more exclusive. Like, was that why you got it? Because I felt like it was a great car to drive, but I couldn't separate it enough in my brain from some of
Justifying
their
the-
other rear-wheel drive turbo cars to kind of justify the price in terms of driving experience.
I think it's some of the icon of the original Sport Classic. You know, I think that's it's a driver. You know, if you're a collector, you're looking at the bookends, you know, aspect of it. But it's also some of those design, like anything beyond the driving experience. It's some of those gimmicky design things, but are awesome.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like that
The smooth
corduroy
fenders.
and the Targa Heritage.
It's worth
like,
it's worth $100,000.
I'll fuck with that,
There you
that
go.
corduroy all
Moving the
day. That shit
intakes
is
and
fire.
stuff, like
Yeah.
it's a better looking car, absolutely.
It's a much better looking car.
It's what got me hooked on the first one. I turned a corner in London. I can tell you exactly where it was. And I had never seen one in person, knew very little about it in 2010. Turned a corner and went, that's the most beautiful 911 I've ever seen. That's what made
From
me go.
the 997 Sport Classic back. Those are very pretty.
And you know, everyone just said the 997. Sorry to interrupt, but
no.
everyone just said the 997. You know, Sport Classic. It's just a power package car. It's actually like prognosticator to the 99, you know, GTS.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautifully balanced car you could drive every day. Of course,
Yeah.
no one's driving them every day, but
It's
it's
too bad. They're too
It's a
they're
perfect
too
package.
valuable to use every day.
Correct.
I just told this. It was at Luft this past weekend. You weren't there, were you?
my brother was there and some of my staff.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I saw Bob Ingram Plaza, which was very nice, and I saw your race car there. I didn't think you were there, but I was talking to the Porsche. One of the guys from Porsche, and I was like, yeah, the worst thing about the Dakar is that it's limited production because a whole bunch of people that would be having a great time if it was just a regular car
Yeah.
are instead going to stuff it away.
Correct.
You know, and if it was just a regular production car, they'd treat them like they were disposable, and that would be awesome.
They're going to sit in collections and
Which is
garages
sad.
and not be used.
Yeah.
When a whole segment of the population that would actually drive that as daily.
Yeah.
And it'd be a great daily.
Yeah, it would be cool.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of collectors and Zwart.
Yep. Zwart will be using that and flogging it everywhere.
Yeah.
He'll take his canoe on it. And,
Yeah.
Swart told a great story about he wanted the Sport Classic tail on the car. And then we got into this rabbit hole of why they couldn't do it because of the plumbing and the everything.
Yeah,
was
well,
coming through.
it has top mount intakes because of the sand and stuff like that. So I'm not surprised, but fucking Joey Seeley will figure out a way to make that work. he'll put something.
There's
on
no
there.
doubt.
It'll be all right. Yeah, Joey will
The
handle
suspension will
that.
be better. Everything will be
Yeah,
better.
he'll handle that. Did you see his turbo?
Yeah, I didn't. I saw pictures of it.
Yeah, Joey Seeley built a 991 Turbo S Safari.
It's really clean and classy
Yeah.
looking. That's
Yeah.
what I like about it. In
It
this
looks
world,
like Porsche could have done it.
Correct.
It's not that different from what the Dakar looks like.
Yes.
Although apparently it's like got full nose to tail skid plates, which Dakar does not have.
Yeah.
which is sensible. That's really smart thing to do on that car if you're
I
actually
love
going to use
Joey's.
it.
Joey's builds are so practical and clean. I like the
Yeah.
aesthetic cleanliness of his
Yeah,
build.
yeah. So, how many miles do you have on your Sport Classic so far? You
The
have a
new
bunch?
one? No,
Yeah, the new one.
With the old one, I've put 5,000 miles on. I bought it with 300. The new one's, I think I'm over 500.
Okay.
So
That's impressive.
Yeah, I just
You
like,
just got it.
I just got it.
Yeah.
A couple 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And it's
Great color
to go back to Zach's point. It all had to do with the aesthetic for me. It had to do with the look and the fact that it kind of matched the older car. So I like having both of them. And if I had to narrow, we've talked about this. If I had to narrow down owning, just two 911s, there'd be bookends. And it's the original car. It's all about the interior too. You get in the car and go, everything in here's leather. How did they do this back at the time? Everything is covered in leather. And the new one, I didn't want to have matchy with the light gray make it look like the old car. So that's why I went completely different. No stripes, no gumball on it, no. And with the tartan interior.
Yeah.
You can skip that. Maybe.
Correct. It's a little bit too
don't really
marketing.
need
It's
that.
a little too marketing.
Yeah.
What race are you in, buddy?
It's not as bad as that,
that your
Targa where
number?
they did the fender
Do you
toppers.
remember the red metallic with the fender
red
topper?
with the
I was
fender
like,
toppers.
who greenlighted this? And Porsche said, "This is great."
There was some stuff that was like they just like pulled it off some 356 race car or something, and it's like
that's where it was.
I see why this made it to the boardroom table. I
right.
don't know why it made it out of that room.
Right.
It should have not made it on the cars.
But Steve is popping his Sport Classic watch.
Thanks for
Oh,
bringing
did you
that
got
up.
matchy watch?
Look, of course he did.
Of
He's
course
that
you
guy.
did.
He's
Of
that
course you
guy.
did.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I got a Sport Classic.
Do you print out the spec and tape it to the windshield when you go to the car shows?
Of course he does.
It actually goes uphill douchey from there.
Yeah.
That's what you lost.
He gets in there and starts it up and revs it.
I bought a yellow dial Rolex Oyster Perpetual from a guy. The Stella dials.
Stella.
I really wanted the yellow.
Yeah.
And I met a guy who had the yellow.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh yeah, I don't wear that anymore." I go, "Why not? That watch is awesome." He goes, "I bought it to match my La Ferrari, and I just sold the car." And I go, "Let me take that watch. And by the way, let me lowball the fucking shit out of you for that watch."
100%.
Because you just
Now the La Ferrari's
you just
gone.
made $2 million on the car. You can dump the watch it costs, buddy.
Stella's an interesting concept. I got a friend and a client who's
The dials?
yeah.
They're very pretty.
I like
got-
him too.
Yeah, they're lovely.
I think he's got hundreds of them.
Hundreds?
Yeah. No, he's a savant on
Oh, that's
watches.
okay. I have one.
He's got
different.
safes full of them.
Really?
It was his thing, and he
Oh,
found
okay.
a collector that had hoarded them in Europe and never took them out of the boxes, that kind of thing. And
That's weird
He
when
would
people
he
do
would
that.
buy like
That's human
10
psychology
at a
and his
time
car
from him.
collecting, hoarding.
Yeah, and it's so he was like, I think there's a cool thing to have and put
Yeah.
away and. So how many do you have? And he was like, well, how many did they make? And it was like, oh,
I have
geez.
80% of the stock ever made. Yeah.
He's like the guy with the Dinos.
Yeah, right.
30
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
Tony.
Tony. Chairs and flares, baby. All of them.
That's masochistic,
He's kind of
though.
gone. He's kind of
He's
gone from
around.
the scene. Well,
He's
the car
around.
scene.
We see him a little. We see him
Really?
once in a while in Malibu. Yeah, he's all right. He's all
I
right.
haven't seen him forever.
He's
He pumped the market and retired, right?
yeah, he's entertaining. He's building out. He's a
There's
real
a lesson
estate
to be
guy
learned
down in
there.
Long Beach.
Yeah.
He's doing a whole
Lesson to be learned.
doing a whole
Right?
thing. Yeah.
Family
yeah.
business.
He's got some toys. He's got a few things. I saw him in a black LaFerrari not long ago.
Well, I don't think he's struggling. That's
No,
what I
no,
didn't
he's
mean.
all right. Yeah.
Okay.
He's all right.
He's off the grid.
He's struggling,
He didn't get a custom
Let's
color. Is he okay?
Define struggling. Yeah, it's black.
Matt, what were your takeaways from Luft?
Folks, got to take a quick break from this show to talk about Game Time. Buying tickets to events sucks, especially if the event's already sold out. You're trying to get them last minute. You're hunting down the best price. You got to compete with other buyers. Then they've got the bots that just like buy up all these tickets. It stinks. You're trying to do something fun with your friends, with your family, with your significant other. It shouldn't be stressful. That's why Game Time is here. It's the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. They've got killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, so you can stop stressing over the tickets and getting hyped for the fun you'll have at the event. I recently used the Game Time app. My wife, Hannah, her birthday was last month. And she has been sort of on the sly talking about wanting to go to a WNBA game. So I wanted to surprise her. It was her birthday, and I wanted to do something nice. So I thought, well, what if I don't just get tickets for a WNBA game? What if I get courtside tickets to the WNBA game? So I downloaded the Gametime app onto my phone, hit up the LA Sparks, that's the WNBA team here in Los Angeles, and browsed around. It was so easy to find a variety of tickets, and it turns out in May they are playing Las Vegas. And so there was a pair of courtside tickets right there. I could zoom in on the map, and I could see what the floor looked like from the seats. That was great. It was easy to buy them, easy to transfer the tickets into the other app that I need in order to get into the event. And it was a great experience. It was very easy. The tickets were, kind of expensive because it's courtside. Courtside WNBA is still courtside, but it was probably like a tenth of what it would be if it was courtside Lakers. But it was a great experience. I got a good price on the tickets. I got plenty of a selection if I wanted to go second or third row. Bunch of tickets there too. And with the Gametime guarantee, if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. So all you got to do to snag some tickets without the stress on Gametime is download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code SMOKINGTIRE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but create an account and redeem code SMOKINGTIRE for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Matt, what were your takeaways from Luft?
Well, I wrote a column for Road and Track because over and over I kept asking myself as I wandered around the weekend, why has it been 9 years and nobody has been able to successfully copy this?
Replicate
As a brand, you said. Yeah, a different brand.
Well, just this as the style. I mean, Jeff has an amazing eye, and Patrick is amazingly talented, but it would not be rocket science to reverse engineer the concept and apply it to Ferraris or Corvettes or Land Rovers or anything. I mean, you pick an aesthetically interesting venue that's not a field or a parking lot
or a golf course
or a golf course, yeah. And you place the cars in a way that provides maximum photogenic visual appeal, and you celebrate the brand with a variety of little Easter eggs within that environment. And it's like everything great is copied, but like why has no one even really attempted to copy this? Like this is clearly the best one make car show that there is.
Yeah.
It's like, but like,
the
easy answer is, well, you need a Zwart and you need a Patek.
You started
Rolodexes.
the conversation by saying Jeff is stop right there because he is the aesthetic eye, and when you think of the combination of car guy, cinematographer, still photographer, artist, okay. He's Porsche connected. In the Ferrari world, is there a guy like that? I don't think so.
Well, I think you could find a reason for each individual brand as to why it wouldn't work. Ferrari celebrates originality and not customization in a way that Porsche celebrates both equally.
Yes.
Luft does.
You're not. Sure. Yeah. Porsche fandom.
Yeah.
Porsche culture.
Yes.
It is virtually impossible for a modified Ferrari that's been modified in any way to sell for more than the value of if it was left alone.
That's very true.
Whereas there's many Porsches that have been modified by many people where the value is increased because of those modifications, whether it's RWB, agree with it or not, or someone like yourself, or doing an engine swap, or a Joey car, or whatever it is, and
relatively new phenomenon too over the last.
Could be.
But there's no
15 years?
To your point, there's no equivalent of like a Rod Emery in the Ferrari world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's building these bespoke custom 356s. There's no guy building bespoke Dinos.
Right. And when they do pop up once in a while and they do trade hands, it's not for It's not for significantly more than, just look at if you try and sell a Ferrari with aftermarket wheels or a Novatec body kit or a manual gearbox swap. Yeah. That is a devalued car.
I'd like to see the comments on BAT on that. That'd be fun.
I mean, they're not as bad as you'd think, but they don't bring the numbers.
Right. Is that just because they're too precious and valuable? Because all you have in Ferrari is you have this bridge. You have no modifications really celebrated, but then you have the companies that do super expensive replicas, of like the 250s, and they cost $700,000, and they're made by hand.
Well, those companies are now out of business because 250 GTEs are worth too much to cut up.
And Tom Mead, I think, is the only guy in the 60s that modified cars, an American living in the UK, in Italy, and he only did, I don't think he did 10 cars.
Yeah.
And those come up and people buy into them and they kind of go, yeah, it could be worth the same as one that's untouched.
Or maybe a Koenig or something, one of those real brand name kind of things.
I think the difference is, and Cam and I were talking about the numbers coincidentally on the way over here, they sold, 7,000 tickets on the first day and 5,000 tickets the next day at Luft. Price of entry to appreciate a Porsche can be $10,000, or that used to be. Maybe now it's 25. There isn't another brand where you can you can attract the masses as an audience. Because the price of entry is just too expensive.
Yeah, true. And and at that show, you have cars that are multiple millions of dollars, the 908s and the 962s and shit like that. Yeah. But you've also got SCs, 968s, 928s in a variety of conditions. So they celebrate the spread. It's not just celebrating the pinnacle.
There wasn't a collection of GT1s there.
Right.
Yeah. But I do think Porsche culture globally in North America, to your point, you can have a guy that has a 928 talking to a guy that has a 918, and there's some language. There's not a barrier there. There's a connection through DNA.
Yeah, well, that's what Jeff said too when I asked him about the article, and I talked to Brian Scotto from Hoonigan, who said that he, in his opinion, Luft came about right at the time that young people started to go, oh, this Porsche thing is actually like pretty legit.
Yes.
And buying up the SCs, buying up the 928s and the 944s, and air-cooled cars particularly started to be seen as sort of a usable fashion accessory 100%. In a way that an older a Ferrari 308 GT4, or one of the quote lesser Ferraris was too precious somehow, or too fragile, or whatever to be just used as a car.
Right.
Whereas you could buy a 1983 911 right now in Los Angeles, and it could just be your car.
It's a utility, but it's a utility knife. It's a robust German Toyota.
Yeah.
Well,
but someone could try. Like they might not. I'm not saying that people are trying and failing all over the place because they're not Zwart.
Right.
But like, no one has tried. Like you're telling me there isn't a very talented photographer out there somewhere that loves Corvettes and is going to set up this kind of thing for Corvettes or Mustangs or whatever. But like, it's just amazing to me that like.
But you think about how splintered every call culture gets, how nuanced and all the niches. That's the thing about Porsche. You have the air-cooled guys, you have the water-cooled guys, you have the 914 guys, the water pumper guys. But they generally appreciate the brand's history and the passion behind the design. And some that, you go to a BMW event and it's some of the shade and hate.
Yeah, and that's true. And I guess if you had a Mustang event, it's not like there would be a Explorer section, or an F-150 section, whereas you can put Taycans and 911s and Cayennes in a show, and it still feels connected somehow.
Well, it transcends somehow. When was the last time you saw another brand that transcended into male, female, plenty of females into Porsches, all economic groups, it's borderless country-wise. It's a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, I understand the power of the brand because whether it's the demographic of economics or sex or, you've got people in Alaska, you've got people in Florida, you've got people in Europe, all over Europe that, you know.
It's approachable enough.
Yes.
And usable enough.
The usable thing aspect.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a
you've test driven
difference.
more cars than probably most human beings in the industry.
They're all usable.
But
I mean,
the
even-
Porsches are amazing. You go every decade going back. It's not to say they don't have their design flaws in each era product, but like I just sold Zuckerman a split window, a 1950 split window. Yeah. And it's a 4-digit car, and he's driving it. He's put over almost 200 miles on it. And most people would say that car's undrivable. It has, it's not synchronized, the transmission. It's an early Volkswagen magnesium case. And he's like, this car has so much soul, has so much character. And that's just a little nuanced example of how many people are driving 1950 anything.
Sure. I mean, I was able to drive, a 1987 car for 3 years as my daily driver. And I mean, it's not saying the same as a 50s car, right? But we're still talking about a 25-year-old car.
That's a commitment.
That was, I mean, it had a heavy clutch, okay, but it had a heavy clutch because Lee Keen put a heavy clutch in it. But it was still like, it wasn't hard.
Oh,
it wasn't
your
like,
Safari. You're talking, that was a badass car.
It was. Yeah. It wasn't. It was not a sacrifice.
Do you regret selling that?
No, because I have said this a million times, but I have bad knees, and that car had the heaviest clutch of any car I've ever owned, and it was just beating me up. And the thing that it does very well, which is drive on dirt and stuff, I do so much driving for work that when I'm not doing driving for work, I'm not going, you know what I want to do right now? Drive 3 hours out to the desert to do more driving.
I'll be back in 8 hours, babe.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the same. It was the same reason I sold my Raptor. You know, it did the thing it does super well, but it wasn't in part of my routine in my brain to go out and do that thing. And so I sent it to someone who would, and I get tagged on fucking Instagram all the time. The guy who bought that car is having a great time, and good on him. And in the meantime, I've had my Boxster Spider for 4 months now, and I put 3,200 miles on it.
There you go.
So I made the right move. You know, I love driving my Spider, and it's the best car I've ever owned, and it's perfect. And so, you know, Zach and I just did 1,000 miles in it in a weekend. It's fucking great. Yeah. It's so great. By the way, on the way leaving Luft,
holy shit,
dude! On the way leaving Luft,
I can't wait.
It's on, it's water cooled day, right? My car, we showed it on Saturday, Sunday, So we're leaving, and from Mare Island, I don't know if you've ever been there, but there's like a 2-lane, road that leaves through Vallejo to the highway, and there's like a light every half mile. So you get up to 60, and then you got to stop and whatever. And then it leads to a service road that leads to a highway. Fine. We're at a light waiting to go, and one police explorer just flies by the cross street going left to right. And then 2 more police explorers fly by the cross street going right to left.
Ooh.
Well, no, the first car went across the intersection in front of us into a neighborhood. And we're like, oh, okay. And then our light went green, and then we hear sirens. So everyone kind of sat there going, there's more cars coming. And those cop cars came up and turned right and headed toward the highway. And we went, is it a different call, or did that guy? And then
we saw 3 cops going different directions.
First cop made a U-turn, and he shows up like, sorry, guys. Like, it's
He's like,
right. Yeah, he turned around and
okay, so then,
the turn.
So they're going, okay, fine.
Burns a donut.
The light is now green. We accelerate away from the light, and I'm in the right lane of 2 lanes. And about a quarter mile up, there's a highway entrance merge. So cars are coming on. This white Ram Rebel pickup truck, quad cab, comes flying.
Barreling.
Dude, and kind of drifts a little bit, sends it super wide, and I quick look over the shoulder. No one's there. I swerve to the left lane.
Not Frozenberry.
And then we seriously almost got taken out.
Yeah, we did. I gave him the arm in the air.
We almost got
so
taken out.
If you had not been watching your mirrors.
Hadn't been watching the mirrors.
We had the top down, so I'm just sitting here, and all of a sudden I see white thing coming from the right.
Dude,
what the fuck is happening?
And through the gravel, huge dust cloud, and I'm like, whoa! And I what the fuck? And then I go,
Was that the
You think
cop?
that's who the cop was looking for?
Oh, shoot.
And then up behind us, 2 cop cars fucking send it through that entrance ramp too. Now they need to get, and they hit the shoulder, which is gravel.
Oh.
And one of them slides like an inch from the guardrail. We all move over to the right, and the cops go tearing off, chasing this guy down the highway. And they were gone. And I mean, they must have been doing 110.
I would have loved to have been one of those interceptors.
Oh,
that would have been
dude.
awesome.
I was like, these guys are probably having a great time right now.
Yeah, can you imagine how jacked you'd be in that car? Like,
But like,
the adrenaline.
Cam's like, I want to taste
I
it.
do too. I want to taste of that. Oh my God. Screw Pikes Peak.
so we almost
Glad you pulled over.
Yeah, no, and good situational awareness to not get fucking sideswiped by this asshole.
What a way to leave Luft.
But
that is a memorable story. I mean,
yeah, Zach, I don't know, met some. How did you find out what happened from somebody who?
Someone I met at Luft texted me like, "Hey, good to meet you." You know, and they mentioned they're from here. I said, "Hey, do you happen to hear anything about this?" I don't know why I asked him.
About
and
a police
he's like, I'll
chase?
text my friend who's a cop, and his friend replied, some guy had stolen this truck, fled, and it led to a foot chase, and the guy got arrested.
Wow.
So they did get him.
Yeah, they did get him.
Yeah.
But that was a big start to our drive.
Yeah, it was quick spike.
I mean,
for
that's
him.
there. You're
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Well, good thing you pulled over.
Other than that, very uneventful drive.
My sharing with Cam, my wife.
Oh, this is a great story.
So I'm sitting, starting my morning, and she said, "Can I take a truck because
Truck. It's a G-Wagon. So
take
it's
the kids to school."
Yeah.
And of course, hers didn't have any gas
As
in
the
it.
farmers
at
do.
the farmer's truck.
The
yeah.
truck, yes.
Yeah, I'm from
So
Massachusetts.
here I am minding my business. The phone rings 40 minutes later, and I can hear her. She's shaking, on the other end of the phone, like she's just gotten in an accident. I'm like, okay. From behind, because this is what made me think of it, ass hat going 80 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour lane. She's in the middle lane on a very busy road in Boston, going into a sweeping curve where there's a car coming out, merging into traffic. This guy clips the car coming into traffic behind her.
Oh yeah.
Does a 360, lands, and then slams into the G-Wagon.
Oh wow.
The whole right side of the truck is
Yeah.
now painted with every single
Painted
panel.
but not dented. I bet. Solid.
Dented,
Okay.
but drivable.
Yeah.
Didn't spun it as well. Hit it
Oh,
and
really?
spun the
Holy
G-Wagon.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And of course, the cop
Spun but didn't roll.
didn't roll.
Nice.
Spun in one.
And so the cop does one of these to her. I can't believe the
That's okay.
damage your car didn't take. It's $30,000 worth of damage because every single panel and the wheels and the tires and everything else on the right side. But can you imagine that happening in your Spider? I mean, it's getting hit from behind. You don't see it coming.
Just nuts.
It's just the worst.
Yeah.
And thankfully, everything, the car will get fixed. She's
She's
fine.
okay, right?
She's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
She's shaken up. Understood the value of driving something that heavy,
So I guess you're keeping that car.
Yeah. The diminished value is
Someone's
going to force me
upside
to
down
keep
on a
that car.
G-Wagon right now. Shit.
God dang.
Figuratively, if not literally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think, speaking of G-Wagon, that Mercedes could do the thing Luft does, except the price of entry is high? Because they have cars that, from 70s, 80s, 60s that still work, that drive great.
Yes,
And,
that's true.
But I feel like they don't have the culture.
They don't
of,
have the
let's
fan
go
base or
drive.
culture.
Yeah, they don't have the fan base or culture.
Well, I think all the points that we're talking about, I think we're in the most interesting point of intersection in the 100-year phenomenon of car collecting. It's been a phenomenon for like 100 years, right? And, in the 80s was the first real peak of the market, and you were at, tip of the spear in that first market, and then the ultimate collapse of that hot market in the late 80s. But right now, like this podcast, social media, cars and coffee, Luft to quote, all these like cultural things that have amplified and intensified the passion, opinions, but there's more information, the internet, all of this has coincided in the most unique market conditions, and it's like the stock market. It's very volatile because it's based on human emotion. Mm-hmm. All of it's unpredictable. We could sit here all day and wax lyrics about our opinions on cars, but it all comes down to the human element.
Well, that's, I think, what Luft does, and people. There was a lot of people when I shared my article on Instagram that read the headline and didn't read my analysis and then shared their opinions.
Well,
Why?
Imagine that. Imagine that.
And they go, but what about this event? But what about Corvettes at Carlisle? But what about the Pebble Beach Concours? But what about deuces at the fort or whatever the fuck,
Deuces.
There was one that's like deuces at something, and
dropping deuces
I forget what
at
it was.
something.
Deuces.
And I wanted to see in good
Deuces,
faith,
bitch.
like, did I miss anything? So every time someone mentioned another event, I went into Google image search and typed it in, and every single one of them was just cars in a field. Cars lined up in a parking lot, just like dunk, 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 like dominoes, not placed in a way that provided maximum effect for photography.
Yeah, aesthetic.
Even fucking Pebble Beach,
But they're shared-
even the Concord. It's
The pictures are all the same year
They're
after
all
year
the
after
same.
year
But
after
But
year.
we compete at Pebble Beach. We're fortunate enough to go there almost every other year, and it's different if you're a participant or you're coming there to view. If you're a real enthusiast, but you're not actually a part of the show as an attendee. And Luft, the secret of the sauce is everyone goes and you feel like you're a part of. There's shared ownership.
Yeah.
Because you're discovering these little nuggets. It's an Easter egg hunt, like you said.
Yeah.
And then you see somebody that you really only engage with over. You're DMing. You never talk to this person, but you know who they are. And you have a cordial friendship, and you get to see them in person. So that's a little bit of the magic.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with Pebble Beach. It just is
No,
what it is.
it
But
is what it
the
is.
Never going to
cars,
change.
the venue, the outfits,
Yes.
they're the same every year.
Correct.
So that has its charm.
Yes.
And you can buy into it by dressing a certain way and going to certain events, and maybe just by driving your vintage car to Monterey and hurling yourself into the traffic jam.
Right.
That is an experience, but there's a reason that Luft has gotten so popular, and I think it's because it coincides perfectly with what people want to share on social media.
Yes.
Versus just cars in a field.
Well, the hypothetical.
Because you're a part of it. Again, you get to post that image of what the
Here's
angle.
the content I created.
Correct.
The number of people I saw up there with 3, 4, 5 cameras strapped to their body.
It's amazing.
They got the Leica. They got the DSLR with the big 70 to 200. They've got a backpack with a 4x5 in it.
You're talking my
that-
own
is that
language.
turning
They
you
got
on?
the
Talking my own
They got
language.
the
Get a boner
Hasselblad. They're like, they've got it all.
movement.
Got
I'm
it.
getting all emotional over here.
Yeah.
It's like a buffet. I mean,
And
it's like,
everybody
this
is a
the most
photographer
fun.
now.
Right.
Everybody's got Instagram.
Is it like
Everybody's
everyone's
got,
a podcaster now? Is that
Everybody's an influencer.
2021, yes, everybody was a podcaster.
that they're not
Well,
in the
Yeah.
The hypothetical
That was
question
peak
last
podcast.
night is Porsche's riding this crest, right? They're at the top. Hannah brought it up.
That
and
was a good point.
She said,
it was a good philosophical discussion.
"What's the next big brand in 10 years?
Can
Is it still-
Porsche keep steamrolling? Can they?
Can they? Who would you
question.
say could catch them?" And it was like, I think we were well into dessert then, and we kind of went, "Geez, I don't know." I mean, it was
Yeah.
like it's a great question,
Yeah.
but I don't know if something can't come along and start. And
Well, the
catch
defining
them.
moment for Porsche was the Cayenne.
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
The box store.
All of a
Yeah.
sudden, now you can buy a Porsche so you drive a Porsche when you're not driving your Porsche.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a model for the whole family.
Right. And so, Lamborghini
That
had
was the
their
great
moment
compromise.
with the Urus.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Urus is the Lambo, so everyone knows you're driving a Lambo when you don't want to drive your Lambo.
Yeah.
So it'll be if Lamborghini were to move down market and have this model range, it could be that.
That's it's an interesting.
But also there's a lot of platform sharing going on
Within
there.
the Lamborghini.
Within that, and of course the
Volkswagen.
Cayenne is platform shared as well, but it
Volkswagen.
wasn't in 2004.
That's right.
Well, it was with the Touareg.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like really. It was pretty distinct from the Touareg.
Yeah.
I thought.
The diesel Touareg wasn't exactly the same thing as a Cayenne. The
but
diesel
the
Touareg
big
is a
diesel-
stump puller.
The big diesel Touareg was
it's a good
badass.
stump puller
They're
of a
still
car.
50 grand.
It's
more
going to
than
be
thing.
interesting now that time has passed. But Dr. Viti King, who came up, he was the one who approved the Cayenne, approved the Boxster, the CEO who really saved the company. Then he tried the reverse takeover with Volkswagen. It didn't work out, obviously, but he really was a visionary and modernized the vision of where Porsche was going to this concept of creating models across the board that could be used every day.
Yeah.
Beyond the 911.
Yeah.
So
well, if people who have a 911 are, I think, in my opinion, much more likely to buy another Porsche for their
100%.
every, whether it's a Macan or a
Right,
Cayenne or a
right,
Taycan,
right.
that, and you can kind of feel that connection between the two cars.
Right.
in a way that I don't really feel a connection between an Aventador and an Urus.
Correct.
You know?
But, you know, when I pull into the grocery store back home in North Carolina and I see this lady get out of her Macan, and she has a Macan S or a GTS, she says, oh, I love my Macan. She has no historical perspective of Porsche, but she absolutely loves her Macan. And sometimes it's when you meet people, oh, it's my second or third Cayenne Macan.
Yeah.
And they're just so low. And it's a great product. I mean, my girlfriend has one. I drive it all the time. And
my dad's on his third Cayenne right now. He just got
the green one. You posted,
The only
good color combination.
PTS Cayenne delivered to that whole dealer for the year.
Wow. What color is it?
Goodwood green over Cohiba.
Oh,
it's fucking
wow, that's
awesome.
hot.
Very British.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's
fantastic.
Yeah, and it's a hybrid too.
Ooh,
I convinced.
that's hot.
I talked him out of the turbo.
Yeah.
which is not something you would expect me to do, but I did.
How's he like it?
So, here's an interesting story. He hasn't been able to take it home yet. After 8 months,
What's missing in it?
A portion of
The stereo.
A portion of the charge cable.
Oh, Lord.
And they will not let him take it home until everything is there.
Well, a friend of mine tried to get one of
That's
the new
interesting.
GTS Panamera, the thing that looks like a station wagon, the little station wagon. Forget the nomenclature of it.
Sport Turismo.
Sport Turismo. He tried to buy that, and it was missing an amplifier.
Yeah. It's random shit, dude.
It's crazy.
always some random shit.
Rough day at the factory. Someone was really hungover.
Yeah.
I mean,
Stuff you hear about
missing an
Ferrari,
amp is
not
different than
like-
missing a charging cable, I feel like.
Yeah,
And
it's not the whole charging cable. It's part of the charging cable.
Did he tell them you can put gas in it?
That's what I said. I said, Dad, you fucking put gas in it and drive it home. Like, it doesn't need.
But I'm surprised the dealership.
There's something about they can't deliver it until it's
Can you
complete.
imagine?
And he's like, isn't there another hybrid on the lot, like somewhere? Just give me that charge cable. It's not unique to this
Right.
car, but they can't.
Huh.
He's kind of annoyed, actually. Yeah.
So that's that's a weird one.
That's a very weird one. I don't know.
This attention to detail is what wins races.
9, you will not take the car.
So you figure they'd sold 3,000 cars in the U.S. in 1990 when they dipped when the 964 came out, and you look at that's not that long ago. I mean, it's 35 years now, but you think about. They're almost out of business, completely part of automotive history.
Yeah.
You know, they went off the highs of the 89 series Carreras, and then the 964 comes out, the economy changes, the car's too expensive, and it goes from 40,000 to 3,000.
Yeah.
And now they are where they are.
It's amazing. Jeff
Cayenne,
Zwarts told me that in the early 90s, when they were selling those very low volumes, the amount that they were paying him and his little company to do the marketing compared to the numbers of 964s they sold, he said it was like a tangible amount of money from every car sold went directly to Jeff Zwarts for the marketing.
Well, even if it was $100
like 4 figures a car.
A car, we're like,
A car.
holy cow.
It was
That's where their profit
it was
was going.
thousands of dollars
Someone
per
showed up,
car.
like, we have to make an SUV now because we paid Jeff too much.
And that's why your dad doesn't have a cable. See, they can't afford it.
Right?
But you know, you walk into any Porsche dealership around the country and you ask about their 911 allocations, and guys are lining beyond the GT list.
Yeah.
A guy who's worked hard his whole life and now can buy a 911, he can't get a 911 unless you have a special relationship.
Same thing with Rolex.
Blows my mind.
Oh,
You can't. You used to be able to go, hey, I've done well this year. I'm going to treat myself and
Right.
go buy a Submariner.
Yeah,
Or,
good luck with that.
nope.
But that's a different thing, though. That's really
It's intentional market.
It's
Correct.
that's going to bite them in the ass at some point because it really is. We have it. We're
Yeah.
just not going to sell it to you.
Yeah.
Versus we've got 5 people for every 911. They've got to watch for everybody.
I'd like to think that it would bite them in the ass
I don't
for
think
Schadenfreude reasons.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But
I
it
don't-
won't turn fast enough, and they can ramp up production as needed if they need to.
What's your opinion on their whole certified program?
I think it's
brilliant.
I think it's
Monopoly.
I think it's obvious.
It's brilliant.
I mean,
Monopoly.
they're watching all these other people because it's an in-house flip system.
Correct. That's it. That's why
we
are
can raise
why
the
are we gonna-
prices of our own inventory
Yeah.
by calling them used.
Yeah. We could fucking fence them out the back door to some anybody who will sell them back to us for 10% over sticker, and then we'll flip them for 20% over sticker. They're not selling vintage pieces, CPO.
No.
It's late model
It's
shit.
late model
it's
stuff.
an in-house flip. It's amazing. But they watched car dealers do it
I mean, that's why the manufacturers are starting.
Ferrari was doing it, and you know.
Ferrari Clashes, Porsche Classic, it's the same.
Not to get completely off topic, can you explain who owns Rolex to me? Go ahead.
The Hans Wilsdorf Association.
Can you break that down for us?
Is there a little pyramid that you can make?
No, nobody really knows.
Right?
It's a private company, and they can do whatever they want, and they're already so rich that if they sell a few fewer watches this year in order to pump up their brand value, or if they can force you into buying a 28 millimeter ladies pave dial,
I love it,
in platinum,
that's going to be your
the Submariner
mid diamond.
Yes, this is our diamond. That's so brilliant.
Yeah, I've had people say the quiet part out loud to me multiple times. I was in Europe, I was in Scotland, and I went to a Rolex authorized dealer, and I didn't even want anything. But
Exhibition
I was like,
only.
just out of curiosity, I'm in town. Yeah, exhibit only. I go, if I wanted Daytona right now, I was like, I have to buy 2 presidents, right? Then a Daytona would appear, and the guy goes, with diamonds. And I was like, oh
with
shit,
diamonds,
this guy straight up said it. Yeah, wow, okay.
Maybe it's Spectre. Maybe it's Spectre.
This is straight up.
It's an organization like Spectre that owns
the Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
Do you know how the taxes work for Rolex? Because I just read about it.
They don't pay any.
Because it's a charitable foundation that owns all the shares.
That's the best.
They don't
That's the best way.
disclose how much they donate to.
Yeah. And they don't disclose their volumes of watches.
They don't disclose anything.
Which is remarkable.
Yeah, but they promise that they give money.
But
to
the
promise.
They promise.
the
We're on top of it.
backlash against that whole model has resulted in a lot of the heavy hitters going more towards independence.
Yeah.
Whether they're buying from AP or Patek more, or Richard Mille, or places like Ming, or some of the Rexepi, or any of those guys that are really artisan crafting stuff. And there's a lot of those smaller companies that are making really cool shit and doing really well. Grand Seiko through the roof.
Yeah, cool.
You can go buy one.
Great product.
Yeah, amazing.
It's not a
product.
coincidence that Lang & Son opened up right next door to Rolex in Boston.
Yeah.
And you go, well, wait a minute. If you're not willing to sell me something, these are equally as beautiful. Sometimes
They're better.
They're better. They're more beautiful. They're more unique. And so
I hate
go
to say
enjoy that.
When I see a guy some dude wearing a Grand Seiko, I automatically want to go talk to him because I think he's going to be an interesting person.
That's a person who knows something.
Correct.
I love my Grand Seikos. I've got 2 of them, and they're fucking awesome.
I bought a Baltic recently because it was the tri-compacts.
I saw that one. Yeah,
came
it's
with
neat.
a set of stopwatches.
Hodinkee just sent me this as their Autodromo collab. It's a hand-wound chronograph
That's
with
really
an integrated bracelet with a hidden clasp. I'm kind of into it.
And the
Kinda
guy
like
who does
Omega
Autodromos
style.
is a
Yeah,
great guy.
I like
He's
that.
a great guy.
Yeah, this is funky.
I like that a lot.
But anyway, that's the watch market's fucked. I still like my Rolexes though. I do still like them. They make a good watch.
I like the brand new the simple Daytona that they just launched because of the new bezel on it.
Oh, it's
looks
cool.
like an old
Do
bezel.
you have one coming?
No, because I went. The day that it was announced, I went to the local guy that I know who
He didn't know the right guy. He knew the other guy.
Can you switch your Sport Classic? Can you Sport Classic?
It's easier to get a Sport Classic and a tailor-made Ferrari than it is a Rolex. And I went to him. I said, "Here, I know I've been in here before. I've asked him. I bought my wife some jewelry here. I bought her a watch here." And the guy goes, when we get them, the big shrug of the shoulders, we'll see.
Steve, if you have to remind them who you are and that you shop there, you're not somebody.
I know.
Do you know how many $1 million cars I've sold?
Or you gotta come up with like a real story. Like you gotta be like,
Correct.
you gotta come up with a milestone.
I bought my wife's watch here 10 years ago.
That'll like.
Get to somebody's heartstrings.
I'm having a grandson. I want to give it to my grandson so he can open it.
I love that.
You gotta really come up.
Whose ad is that?
I did
it's
that
not.
for-
It's a family.
Patek.
That's Patek. Yeah, that's a brilliant ad
was a good
campaign.
I did that for my son. I found an old, and when the Polo Stores was selling vintage Rolexes, I just turned one over one day. He was just born, and it said to Jack on the back of it from Mom and Dad. It was interesting because it was December something 1942.
It was some other Jack.
It was some other Jack. So it was a
Jack Kennedy.
Speed King that was about, it was tiny. And I bought it and put it away from me. Graduated high school. I gave it to him.
That's pretty cool.
So,
Does he wear it?
No, not really. Because I gave him.
It's like a 34 millimeter
Yeah,
bubble
it's like-
back.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I gave him something. I gave him a tutor or something for college, and he wears that.
He wears that?
Yeah.
Well, Ralph always wanted to be in the watch business.
Sure.
And now they make their own watches, and they're funky. I'm into them, actually.
Yeah.
I have a cool
Some of the
Ralph
big
Lauren
ones are
watch.
pretty cool.
I have a really cool Ralph Lauren watch that Ralph gave to my dad. That is a watch that doesn't actually exist. There's no reference
Really?
number. Yeah, it's really cool.
No teddy bear on it.
No, before that. It's
Does it
before
have
that.
some of those wood?
It's a world. It's before that. It's a world timer in white gold with the JLC movement, and they sold 500 of them in steel to the public. But he made 5 for the board of directors in white gold.
Wow.
And so there's no reference number. There's no record of it actually.
Is it beautiful?
It's cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, it looks a lot like the JLC version of it because
Right.
they just didn't change that much. They just recased it and restrapped it.
Right.
But it's neat.
That's cool.
I wear it sometimes, and it's fucking a boat anchor because it's like
Yeah.
44
It's big,
millimeters.
big old-
of
big
gold.
old-
You know, when giant watches were cool.
Yeah.
You can show a picture of it to the Periscope guy, the guy that's always debunking things, and he can say fake.
Yeah. No, it's legit. I had it. I had some folks look at it. It is very, very legit. And,
I'm sure.
And we have the records. We have the records.
Do you have the box of papers? My God.
75th anniversary Porsche. You doing anything? Come on, June 8th.
I
perfect
don't.
segue.
Oh, yeah, that was really, that was.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
75th or 50th?
think it's
75th.
It's 75th.
Yeah.
I thought I saw something.
1948.
I saw something on Instagram that was like it's a 50th anniversary of Porsche. Something.
Somebody
but-
fucked that up.
Okay.
Might be of the 9.
This
Not of the
guy.
9.6. No, 9/11. No.
You just came from Luft. How
I'm just
could
asking
you?
Might be the
Just
50th anniversary of the 914.
Something. Yeah. There's a 50. There is a
70.
50.
It's the 73 RS.
Oh, right.
That's what it
the
is.
73
Come on,
RS.
kids.
Yeah.
Come on. 2.7.
Amateurs.
I don't have a plan yet. No, I got an invite to Rennsport, but I'm not sure I
We
can make
have a
that.
plan.
What is your plan? What's the Road Scholars plan?
What's the Road Scholars plan?
Is it a Road
Steve?
Scholars plan, or is it just a CAM plan?
No, we're collaborating.
Yeah. We sort of put our heads together and went, 75th anniversary, and being car pimps like we are, whores, pimp. I think more pimp than whore.
That sounds
Both,
better.
if it's personal. We have a little auction going on with Bring a Trailer.
Oh.
We collab with Bring a Trailer to have an instant Porsche collection.
Oh.
If you wanted to have like one of everything, not everything, of
And
course.
you place one bid for all cars?
No, it's going to be
individual lots.
Individual cars. It's either
Okay.
going to be 8 through 10 because we haven't solidified the final couple cars. So we came up with a name called Group P. 75 years on.
Okay.
Cute.
So give me some top line items. What are we putting on the show? Can we talk about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, 57 Carrera GT, the first one in the country.
First one
of
delivered.
17 made for 57.
Okay.
One of 14 Super 90 GTs. Magnus is giving us a 77. He's not giving us. He's doing it with us. 77 930 Turbo in mint green.
Oh, I know that car.
It's a really slick.
Yeah.
So that's
it's
going to be
nice.
included. I have one of Rod Emery's specials, the one that
One of the early
he's still
ones?
on his website. That you go to the landing page. The black car. That's in the
gonna
group.
be in the group.
911R, 993 RS.
A 910 with experimental.
Oh yeah, a 910 that came with an original 8-cylinder, the 907 prototype motor. So it also runs a 6-cylinder in it now, which Baltic used in their advertising for that watch.
Oh, cool.
And a binder this thick, full of all the.
Do most of the 910s run 6-cylinder motors now and not the 8s?
Yeah.
Why
Well,
is that?
there's only a few cars delivered with 8 cylinders,
Oh, okay.
so most of them were all delivered with 6 cylinders.
One of the ones
with the
that
fuel
Luft
jet.
had the 8 in it.
Yeah.
I don't know whose it was, but I heard it driving and it was fucking awesome.
Really?
I think it's a guy by the name of Hagen's car.
I don't know. It was
think-
fucking
Most
badass.
all the
Yeah.
910s had the fuel injected 6-cylinder.
Okay.
Yeah, so only a few.
This one sounded incredibly unique.
Just really good.
It was bassy.
Yeah.
Lots of bass.
I
Very
know what I
cool.
was forgetting, the 600-mile 97 Turbo.
Yep.
Oh, pimp.
So
That'll be
that's
all right.
So yes.
Okay, so all heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Major heavy
So
hitters.
all on the same, listed at the same time. And it's just really going to be an interesting, we'll see what happens, but having that many heavy hitters all at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's been fun to work with BaT.
No reserve, I imagine.
Oh, 100%.
No.
Fucking let it fly.
Let it rip.
Is there
What
a
could go
button?
wrong
It's
with
like
$7 million
gambling.
worth of cars?
I love a no reserve auction. That's my favorite.
It
I've
is.
actually been lucky. I've never gotten hosed on a no reserve auction. I know that's the exception.
It's
not
a simple
the rule,
psychology that people know it's going. There's no
If they're
You
going to
shouldn't
invest
get
their
hosed.
time, it'll bring market price.
Right.
Yeah.
The DeLorean sale day was a tight one. That was
The DeLorean sale was stressful.
last
That
5
was-
minutes. It was okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's every auction. That was just my first one. The car was, I had a reserve, and the car met reserve and then sat there. It met reserve on day one,
Yeah.
and then there were no bids,
Just parked.
until the last 20 seconds
Of course.
of the auction,
And it went nuts.
and then it went nuts, and then it went for like 17 or 18,000 over what the reserve was, so it was fine, so it was good, but yeah, it's stressful.
Yes.
Don't watch.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I've done over 100 cars with them now, and it comes down to the last 5 minutes. Generally, the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We did the for a client gave us that 917 with the
Slot car?
open up with the slot car set
Oh, the
in
slot car table.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was
Bonkers.
That was a hoot.
What did that end up getting?
205.
Fuck, for a slot car table.
Which I'm upset about because we had the opportunity. The client said, well, you want this $50,000? I was like, that's crazy.
Oh my god!
It's a perfect thing to put in your
It would have
showroom.
been a good thing for your lobby.
Yeah,
No,
it would have been a nice thing
it
for our
would've been
lobby.
cool.
It
You
would
know how
have
many
been
people
nice.
thought I had a
Did you use
917?
it? You ever try it?
Oh yeah.
You tried it?
Oh yeah.
Was the slot car track any good?
Oh, yeah, it was
It's
really
like-
good.
No, it's not. It's
Yeah,
it's
it was-
epic.
it
No,
was-
it's a fully functional thing. It's
Slot
first
Mods
class.
who built it did a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
I
it
used
was
to slot car
fantastic.
race when I was a
Yeah.
kid. That's some real nerdy shit.
That is some real nerdy.
You get down in the slot car racing rabbit hole.
You should have a show where we're all here just doing slot cars
Oh,
and the
It's
banter
great
that
for
would
the
the
audience,
banter that
for
would come out of
radio.
that.
The audience will love that. It sound like bees are attacking their fucking eardrums.
Nerdy stuff. The guy who gave us the track to sell, his grandson got a modern McLaren slot car, and we didn't think anything of it. We just put it in with all the other cars. You know how many times people said, "Oh, I don't remember those being at Le Mans in 1960."
we did
And come on, really? Does it make you happy? Does it really make you happy to say that? I mean, come on.
That's ridiculous.
It's just.
I love that stuff. I love that stuff.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
So,
so-
what else? That's amazing. When is the first? So it goes up on June 8th?
No, it ends on
It
June
ends
8th.
on June 8th.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
On the anniversary.
So it goes up June 1st or
Goes up
2 weeks.
really Memorial
It's gonna
Day
be 2
weekend.
weeks, right?
Yeah.
The 20 something. Oh, that'll be awesome.
So
That'll be
it'll be fun to watch. It'll be nerve wracking. I don't expect everything to
Are
find
all
a
those
home.
cars at Road Scholars right now?
They're
split.
We
They're
split.
split them. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Sick.
So
That'll be fun.
it'll be a good collab. I'm glad Magnus joined in because he's got, in my opinion, too many cars. It's time to sell something. He went,
Yeah.
I've always wanted to sell this. So
Yeah, he put
terrible.
10 cars
A
at the
lot.
Peterson and still had a bunch to drive.
yeah. He still had
That's a
3
sign.
times as many to
Yeah.
Yeah,
drive.
his warehouse is dense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems annoying if he wants to drive like one that's in the back.
Yeah,
Kind of move a bunch of
move
shit.
7 cars.
Chinese
Yeah.
puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, it's pretty impressive when you slide open the big door. It's pretty cool. But
It is. You're like,
It's pretty awesome.
That is
This,
pretty
this
awesome.
is pretty neat. Then you slide open the next door, and there's another room. Then you slide open another door, there's another room.
Yeah.
So, and having the Emery thing, it's just dumb luck that the
Yeah.
client had the car and he wanted to get rid of it, so I shipped it over back from England, and it was. It's interesting, and that's an interesting car because it's a very early Polo engine car, 2.5 liter, early special, so it doesn't look like the cookie cutter of all the cars he's doing now. So it's pretty cool.
Fucking just crap on Rod a little bit.
No,
Call
he's
Rod
got
cookie
two,
cutter, huh?
No, he does one series of cars.
He's
that are
he's
regular cars.
backtracking now.
And then, no, I think God bless it. He's smarter than me.
Everybody out of this.
He's got people giving him hundreds of thousands of dollars for his specials.
He's doing okay.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. So what is the high end of the market has been high, right?
Yeah.
Has it settled or is it still just kicking along?
It's in pockets. It's interesting. There's no real. There's certain things, but it's all over the map.
Yeah, I think last October there was the end of a cycle, if I had to put a date to it, because I know across the board with colleagues in Europe, colleagues in the United States, something happened where everything just got quiet, and it stayed quiet. It was world events, interest rates, Ukraine, threat of China, all this stuff happened for a reason, and it was like the perfect moment for everybody to go, I bought 5 cars during COVID, I don't need anything right now.
I think everyone shot their wad during COVID. I mean, everyone who dreamt of owning something is like, now's the time.
Went out
and bought it.
But about 6 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks ago now,
the tap turned on.
Everything went click and it went up. And the top of the market is very busy again. Anything over $1 million, anything over really $3 million is lit. And big cars, C-types, D-types, big Ferraris, Ferraris in the 20 million plus range. I'm hearing friends saying, I've had this car for sale for a year, it's sold. I've had this for a year, it's sold. I've had it for 6 months, it's gone. We just sold the second most original 904 with 17,000 original miles on it, and
original paint,
ran
original interior.
Sebring and managed to be undamaged, and that can't tell you what it was being indelicate to spew that out, but it was a lot of money, and there were a couple of people on it.
Indelicate. I like it.
So what about what about the medium range? What about the 100 to? And I realize for anyone listening, $100,000 is a ton of money.
Correct.
But I'm talking in the world of collector cars, low 6 figures is the medium range today. So
good preference.
So I'm not because I'm not trying to sound like
a
shitbag, but this is the reality of what collecting cars is.
Sadly,
we deal in a privileged elitist world, and it's not meant to be insulting to anybody.
But I get asked a lot about cars for $100,000.
Yeah. So I think the thing with that and that price point is that guy is a passion buyer. Like, he's buying it because he really there's not so much of a financial, at least in my experience of being on the phones and doing deals, is those buyers typically tend to be long-term holders. They're not looking to buy something and rotate it in 12 months.
Yep.
They're buying it because they surely want to make a smart buy and know that it's somewhat safe, but at the same time they're buying it because it's passion first.
I think there's a lot of there's a shortage of inventory in that price range.
Right.
It's the hardest thing going back to your friend Tom. Try to find the 2 cars he's looking for. One could be a $40,000 car. The other one should be $200,000, and they're impossible to find.
Yeah.
I mean, and it'll pop up in 6 months.
Go like them, have them, and are holding them.
Go find a great NSX. Go find a great S2000 with low miles. I'm using those examples beyond Porsche. It's like, those cars are harder and harder to find. They don't pop up in the market as much as they used to.
And people are hoarding them.
Yeah. Like an 80s SC. I love a 3-liter SC. It's one of the best 911s ever built. There's just not great ones for sale.
Right.
They're kind of dodgy, and those are bringing still in the almost $100,000 for a dodgy one.
For a shitty SC?
For a dodgy, you see them for $60,000 to $70,000, and someone buys that not knowing what you have to put into it. And
you want a pre-war?
Yeah, that car needs $35,000 to something.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
You want a pre-war car that isn't a Bentley?
Yeah.
Now's the time to buy one. I mean, those cars have come off. Bentleys and Duesenbergs have held their own.
Sure.
The rest of it, it's way off.
I just went to Atlanta, and I drove the Eddie Hall Bentley.
Oh.
For road and track.
How was that?
Do you know the story of that car?
Yeah.
This car raced at Le Mans for 16 fucking years.
Yeah.
It's the reason why people want them.
1934 to 1950.
That's a Revs car, right?
It's a Revs car. And then in 1950, Eddie Hall did the 24 solo.
Yeah.
It's the only guy to ever do it. He did it in a 16-year-old car and finished 8th. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? What kind of speed was Eddie Hall fucking huffing at the fuel stops?
It's such a great story. I just saw that. I was in Florida at Mr. Collier's collection, and it's in the workshop, and we were down there doing some homework on a restoration project, and that car is stunning. I mean, how was it to drive?
Amazing. I was expecting a tractor, and it was not that at all.
For something that big, it's nimble.
It's only 3,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a crazy amount of torque, straight 8.
Yep.
The gearbox is like a regular ass 4-speed. Like, it's not like I drove the Cunningham C5R that raced at Le Mans in '53, also a Revs Institute car.
Yes.
And it used a Seata truck box.
That's
totally unsynchronized.
Yeah.
Shitty.
Yep.
That was a tractor.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fast, but like
it's a ground pounder, but
it was a tractor.
Yeah.
This thing, 20 years older, slick. slick as could be. And I drove it for like a half hour in the rain, and I went, yeah, 24 hours in this thing. Like if I was short. Like, all right, like you got to. Eddie Hall must have been like 5'2".
You were short and you had a bunch of tiger blood to consume.
Yeah.
You'd be
Short king life.
Give me some crank and short legs.
There's places for you.
The pedals were like perfectly placed for heel towing. The shifter was like super, super easy. The brakes worked well.
Yeah.
Tons of power. Very, very fast for what, for 30s.
Yeah.
And they said that Mr. Collier had done over 20,000 miles in this car.
That's right. That's what he told me. And I was like shocked. I was like, he's
so nice.
Yeah.
It rode well. I mean, it was easy as fucking pie to drive. I was like, maybe I need to get into some pre-war shit. And then my friend Andrew Frankel from the Intercooler was also there, and he drove it too. And he was like, they're not all like this. This one is special. They're not.
That's what's so unique about Mr. Collier and the whole Res Institute is they use. I mean, the fact that you had the opportunity to drive that, and the fact that they use all their cars
in the rain.
In the rain, and
Simeon was the only other guy. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the same. They were separated at birth when they're as car collectors.
Yeah.
They really.
But
I think I earned my
to,
way in by not crashing the C5R on track.
Yeah,
there's only one of them.
That would not be a good look. You'd be exiled somewhere. And be like, where's
that car
Matt?
was hard to drive.
And Briggs wasn't a big guy, so
it was what's his name drove it.
Briggs Cunningham didn't drive it.
He didn't race it. No, he. Oh Jesus. Somebody famous.
Yeah,
it's somebody you heard of. It wasn't.
It
wasn't like Phil Hill, but it was like somebody on that level. Who raced Le Mans for Cunningham in 1953? It's somebody that is like a legend.
Yeah, and small.
And small. Yeah, it was terrible ergonomics in those cars.
So what else can you? I mean, to your question, there's parts of the market that's still great buys. I mean, we were talking about early 911s. The '60s cars have come off.
They've dipped, and so and it's always cyclical. The rabbit
hole buy right now a V8 Vantage.
Oh yeah,
like a 4.7 car.
We've been talking about
It's a great
this.
looking, great driving car. Built really well, actually, especially by Aston standards. Built really well.
Cheap,
fun. Yeah, 75 grand gets you a great one.
And if you're buying one from the guy that took great care of it, get those service records because you don't want to spend the 75 and then 10.
Yeah.
But they're big bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Those held up. The first gen cars have held up really well.
What about what I'm starting to see is the early 90s like Virages and stuff.
No, absolutely not.
Run.
One of the worst cars ever made. Absolutely, you couldn't. For free, you'd be going, God damn it! I got another $10,000 bill. I got another. No, absolutely
expensive, and the driving experience is not worth it.
Awful.
Okay,
absolutely.
I've never
awful.
driven one.
Yeah, terrible. Even the V600s were plenty of grunt, and they're now legal in the United States. To straight line.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, forget, it's too big, the suspension's not right, they're under brake.
That is an odd-looking automobile. It's like the greenhouse is one car.
The V600?
The Virage.
Yeah.
The lower half is like a Buick
really
Century Coupe or something.
And if you're driving an automatic and you put it in reverse, the back end of the car lifts up about 6 inches. It's like, why does it?
Because it like torques up the rear. That's very funny.
I think they made 51 in 1991 for the States.
We should go corner that. We should go corner that market.
Yeah. You buy all of them.
Yeah.
They're all TMU, by the way.
We'll resto rod them.
The Odo's in the computer that crapped out 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're all TMU.
Was it the same as like the Lagonda computer?
No, Lagonda had a backup mechanical
under the hood.
The hood. So
God, I'd love a Lagonda.
I
know I don't really want one, but I kind of want one.
They're so ugly. They're amazing.
I love them.
You won't fit in that car either.
I know.
You fit in the back seat.
Well, what you do is you get someone that's fucking out of their mind to turn one into a Lagonda coupe. And you'd end up with like a Kamag almost-y sort of thing.
So the Sultan did a handful of those too. I think Tickford.
Yes.
And he
also did a Wagon, and our friend Bo Bachman owns it.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he owns the Wagon.
He does?
Did you drive it, or were you going to drive it?
Going to drive it.
Zach's doing a thing for it.
Does Bo still have the Evil Knievel Lagonda too?
He's got 5.
He's
got 5 Lagondas.
It is strange. Those cars are gigantic,
love this guy.
but inside.
You met Bo?
No, I don't know.
Oh, you love fucking Bo.
He sounds amazing.
He's a good dude. His dad just passed away, which is too bad.
This past weekend,
really good guy.
I sent him a note. But Bo is a legend.
Really?
Yeah. He owns Galpin, which is the biggest
Ford dealer
in the universe.
Oh, yes.
And he has a car collection
Yes.
of the weirdest shit you could ever imagine.
We sold him.
But he's just
Tim
great.
sold him a car. Yeah.
Oh, the RS, the 964 RS
Yeah.
that he bought.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Ruby Stone.
Yeah, the Ruby Stone,
Stone.
yeah.
Yeah.
That thing
he's-
went nuts on
well,
BAT and-
you know, I love him because he loves pink and purple.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all his shit. And so when he saw my car, he's like, "Welcome to the family,
Oh,
you
yeah.
fucking psycho."
It's in.
He sent a really cool ultraviolet 964 cab to Luft. There was ultraviolet.
Oh, I saw the
with
pictures of
blue
that.
interior.
That
It
looked
was
awesome.
insane.
It looked
Yeah, it's
good.
crazy.
He's
Well,
got
it's
that
funny,
Rin
we-
speed thing too.
The Rin speed he's
Yeah,
got,
that's weird.
and he has
That's
He's got
really
a
weird.
pink 4GT. He has 3 new 4GTs, but he ordered a new one that was pink. Like,
Yeah,
he's just
he
like
also
that.
has a Ruby Stone 944S cab with a burgundy interior for a German delivery car. It's amazing. It's really fucking cool.
I love like themes like that. Like
Yeah.
when some guy has an esoteric theme,
He
like
just doesn't. He
We're
collects what he
finding
likes.
good
Yeah,
themes.
he's
Gordon
fun, dude.
Murray, we spoke to a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
All his cars are under 1,000 kilograms. That's his theme.
That's his
It's
theme.
a good fucking
That's a good theme,
right?
Yeah, engineering
Yeah.
to its peak. Yeah.
Who did we talked to someone else that had a great theme too. Oh shit.
It's gone.
It's gone now.
It's gone now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck it. So
Get back here. Oh.
it's all fucked. Yeah.
Jason Butterfly.
Get out of here. That's all right.
No,
We-
having themes. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
and Gordon, are you going to argue with Gordon about anything?
I can't argue with
Yeah,
Gordon
no, I
about
mean,
anything.
that's a
He's
terrible.
the fucking G.
Yeah, you're correct.
He's one of my favorite interviews of all time. He's amazing.
And you heard the great Haggerty story. Well, not Haggerty bashing, but
No.
you heard the great Haggerty story of him walking up to the hospitality tent.
No.
At
Did they not let
Laguna.
him in?
Yeah.
Really?
He was with Magnus, and Magnus was on the list, and Gordon wasn't. And the
Oh my
little
gosh.
dipshit with the clipboard went,
I'm sorry. You're not on the list.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
He just turned and
And
went
he's
the other.
and he's way too nice to pull a "Do you know who I am?" That's not him. But
Just-
oh god, that's
Guys,
terrible.
you got to get. You
I'll
gotta
catch
get,
up with you later, Mag.
You got to get a few more
Can
people.
you get me
with-
a sandwich?
Would you give me a little Coke and a sandwich?
We're trying to find a way to drive his T33. We really want to go in that thing.
So
That would be.
go to the UK, I guess, and go drive one.
We'd
right?
have to go to the UK, but
Yeah.
they're bringing a pair of them to the US for Monterey.
Is
for,
Canepa still the
they're
point guy?
they're the distributor, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
And-
good.
Yeah, oh yeah. And
that's-
Bruce is the king of telling me I can drive something until it's time to drive it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, drive my
selective
800
memory.
horsepower 959. Oh damn, I just sold it.
Yeah.
Wait till I build the next one. No, I'm just kidding. I love Bruce, but that happened twice. Yeah, come drive it. Oh, I just sold it. Drive the next one.
Let's go to the UK. It'll be fun. We'll go for 3 or 4
Oh,
days.
we'll go to the
Come on.
Royal Automobile
Come
Club.
on.
That'll be fun.
cash in some Amex
I haven't
points,
been to
man.
the UK since 2018. I need to go.
Oh, it's-
I have to make some fucking rounds, man.
Yeah.
You need to
Caffeine and Machine. We got to do it. We got to see Richard Tuttle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his crazy
Yeah.
1,000-kilogram car.
And
Yeah.
whatever it
he's
is.
building and building and building. We
Yeah.
were just there last fall.
We were just there,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Expanding
got to see
new
this.
buildings.
What's it called?
His operation's really
Bister
impressive.
Heritage.
Yeah.
I got to see that
Also
thing.
good.
Yeah,
Also-
James Turner and those guys.
Yeah,
They're great dudes.
There's a whole bunch
They
of
did a
shit
Luft
I got to
there.
do over there.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got. I love.
That's a nice setup. If you want to go sometime, you just go. Let's go.
We got to fuel the jet.
Let's feel the jet. Pack the bag, Zach. We're going.
Tell me when a patron has something to sell and is sending the jet, and then we'll go.
Oh, that hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah.
Damn it. Yeah, no, but that's you could kill a month there doing that.
I
but
know.
If you
Yeah.
can
It's some
condense
great-
4 or 5 days, you can land, hit the ground running, and just keep driving through just the West countryside where all
Yeah.
the places that are
There's
there.
so many great people over there. So many great people in the industry over there.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm long overdue for a loop, and the list of shit I got to do over there is long.
See,
as
that
fuck.
goes back to your original. Where could they do something? You could probably do an English car themed event
Probably.
in either the Docklands in London,
Yeah.
or you could do. That's where you could pull this off, but it would have to be a little broader. Get the RAC involved, whatever it is, and go. We're doing this.
Yeah.
Tea and crumpets.
Carpet catching.
We should be the promoters, and we'll land there and just be like, we're going
Exactly.
to offend everyone. We're going to call it tea and crumpets, and can you guys bring your cars?
Exactly.
Get
What are
kicked
you
out
doing
of
for
the country.
Rennsport? Are you going to do anything special?
I don't know. We will see. Porsche has sent the invite, so
Okay, are you gonna do it like a podcast maybe? Then?
maybe
That'd be cool.
We'll see what it's so far away. Other than marking the dates, I have.
It seems like it's far away, but it's like right around the corner.
It's like September.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
for me,
it's
that's
very
like,
end. September.
it's like right around the corner.
It's May.
Well, you've
Matt.
got stuff in between.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the thing you showed me on your phone downstairs yet?
That'd be an announcement. I guess it's fine. But
Sure. What'd you buy?
He spends all his candy money on cars.
This hasn't been announced to anybody, really. I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So I last year when I raced Pikes Peak, I was racing the GT4 category, and I think everyone in the world was looking at what Hoonigan was doing with their car, and then what Joey Seeley did with his project, which is based on a GT3R, a 2017 model, and so what Reese Millen did in that car, what Joey and Reese did in that car last year, and you ever see something that's so, like, I saw the car, the engineering, and all the passion that Joey put into that thing, and I just fell in love with it. And an opportunity, he called me up and he said, "Are you racing again?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go back and defend the title, and I want to break the record." I was really strong about going back and breaking the record in the GT4 class. And he goes, "Well, why don't you consider racing the GT3R?" And so it just all came about, and now we have a multi-year program, and I'm really excited about jumping up. It's quite a jump. You're going from 420 horsepower to 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah, but you've run it how many times now?
Last year was my second time.
And, is that only 2?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
My first race ever was Pikes Peak.
But you
What?
But you were literally you were like a lot ahead of the second place person last year. I remember seeing the gap, and it was big.
Yeah, it was big.
Wasn't it like? What was the gap between your first place
big.
finish?
It was
and,
big.
No, I know you're a modest guy, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like 20 seconds or something.
It was 2 minutes.
It was
more
2
than that.
minutes.
Yeah.
That's a big gap. So okay, so you're clearly far beyond what that class is offering at this point, right?
Yeah,
it's so fun. But
it's so fun, and I got a lot of experience last year racing the World Racing League WRL, which is a great series up and coming. And there's so many pros racing in that series because it's cheap practice for them. And then you have all the amateurs that are shooting for SRO or IMSA, and it's becoming a feeder series. And I raced most of that season last year, and that really helped me with the build to Pikes Peak, just building that car to car, wheel to wheel. But Pikes Peak, you've had this discussion on the show, and at Pikes Peak, it's such a different time attack format.
Sure.
I mean, there's so many other variables at play.
But
you have to respect the mountain. It's a different race. It's always inclement weather, hardly ever perfect
last
conditions.
year was like a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't believe they ran the race.
It was, once I saw the videos, I was like, oh my God. It was nuts. That was
Like
shady.
every guy, every person, every lady and guy that went off the starting lane, we all had some serious challenges.
Yeah.
Like when I was in the W's, it was just totally socked in. I literally was white lining it. And, that's part of the fun of it. I mean, you don't go to Pikes Peak. You don't go there because it's such a nuanced thing. It's what's so great about motorsports. It's one of the best races in the world, but it's like Woodstock. You just go because you love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're racing there because you absolutely love it and the challenge. And
That was the vibe I got from going. Last year was my first time going. So
what was your impressions? Because it's hard.
It was really cool. I mean, it's not often that you see, real, like, not factory efforts, but like almost factory efforts.
Yeah.
Right next to a guy that literally built the car in his
garage
shed.
Yes.
Right. And not modified a car in his shed, like
Right.
built some shit with tubes.
Yeah.
And
It works. It works really well.
Some of those,
and those
the
are
shed
really
people have
fast.
won like 10 years in a row.
Yeah,
Some of them it's
yeah.
their first time.
Yeah.
And it's just so clearly like each person versus the mountain.
Yes.
People don't even really, they want to win, they want to beat the other drivers, but not at the expense of the
anyone's
other
safety.
driver doing badly. Or, no one wants to beat someone that has a mechanical. No one wants to beat someone whose window defogger isn't working. Nobody wants to beat someone
And it's
who
a whole month
has a
process.
crash.
Most people don't realize you're there for the whole month doing all those practices, and you develop a real camaraderie. It's not like wheel to wheel racing where you see the other
it's
team
authentic.
and you're like, you don't want them to do well when you're wheel to wheel racing. You develop a real sense of camaraderie because you are racing against the mountain.
Right.
You're racing against yourself and the mountain.
So in this new car, is Joey going to come work for you or whatever?
That's the
run
agreement.
your team?
Yeah, he's running the program, and I'm really looking forward to. We're both small business owners, so just the the artisan that we do in our daily lives, our restoration company and Vintage Motorsports, and what he does and his custom builds and his products for performance, it's like a perfect merger of our passion and ideology about what we do.
You're going to repaint the car?
We're gonna put a different livery. Yeah,
of course.
So,
well, your GT4 is paint, isn't it?
It's all painted.
That's
all painted. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It is.
It's a ballsy move to paint the livery in a race car.
That was our shop manager. He said we can't go to Pikes Peak and have a wrap. He's like, let's do this.
But you racing that same car in WRL with painted livery?
No.
Oh, you're not. Okay.
No.
I was gonna say that's
that's
ballsy.
Yeah,
wheel to
really
wheel
ballsy.
with a painted livery.
Yeah,
okay.
So
So
I'm
you're
excited.
Gonna keep the GT4 then? Or are you gonna sell it?
I don't know.
Put it in the auction.
It's swap it with you for
You
your
got to put
BMW.
it in the auction.
It's funny because that club sport, you want to talk
Siri.
about a niche thing, but that club
An
sport
idea.
market, and they're starting to hit now, the market, 718s and previous generations. It's a great car. If you were looking for a track car, that is
Come
a
on.
great car.
Oh, they're so approachable.
It's a bulldog.
So
It just takes
easy to drive.
Easy to drive, fun to drive, drive on the limits, an ultimate momentum car, and they're affordable to run.
Yeah. By the time you get to the mountain, does it start to feel slow though?
Yeah. Last year when I ran, I was telling Zach this, and it has nothing, this is not braggadocious. When I got up to the line, I was so amped last year. I was so ready to go, and Zwart opened the door, and I looked up, and he said, push it. And he's never said anything like that to me in my entire life. And so I was already amped, ready to go, and I was telling Zach, I was so in the moment. It's like a religious experience because you're so present that I don't remember one aspect of the drive. Like when I watch the in-car video and all that, I don't remember any of it.
Wow.
And it's the drug. Zach and I were talking about it. It's the drug for anyone that races. You're so in the moment. It's such a different level of consciousness because you're you're just completely present.
Yeah. That's why I think a lot of people are drawn to those types of activities.
Yes.
Because it's the only way they can really turn their brain
Yeah.
off of everything else. That's part of the reason I'm drawn to it. And motorcycle riding. We talk about this book I've read called The Power of Now, which I really recommend. And
Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the best books ever.
Yeah, it's great. And so it's if you can't turn your brain off, you turn to motorcycling or skiing or racing cars or something where if you aren't focused, you die, or whatever.
Reading that book was a real turning point in my life, though, because you start to understand the finite, and we talk about this and we see this in memes every day about the finite reality of mortality. Time. That's all we have as assets. And I always wanted to race, but I wanted to create my own successful business so I could pay for my own racing. It wasn't up to my father to do that, and when you're an amateur racer, gentleman driver, and you're trying to really hone your craft and be at least as competitive as a pro, and you're always going to be seconds off. You'll never have the amount of seat time. But that's the ultimate challenge. And last year I was so focused on our program, everyone else is getting the media attention, and I love that. I love being an underdog. And that was us in the restoration world for so long. Of who are these hicks from North Carolina? And to me,
we say that now, but because you're more.
They changed it to hillbilly though. It's
but
misnomer.
Everything in life is passion. What do you want to put time into?
Yeah.
To be really good at it.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of guys. How many drivers do you know say, "I'm most relaxed in my life when I'm in the car"?
Yeah.
It's
quite a few.
That's it. If you're in there, and we joke about it because I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm fondly referred to as Captain Slow, and.
Yeah, when we go on drives, it's like, okay, we're going to have to stop here. It's going to be a 20-minute rest. Here comes Steve-O.
Every time I've been on a group motorcycle ride, that's been me. I ride motorcycles slow. I can drive fast, but I'm so scared to go fast on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Too much to lose.
Yeah, there's a lot to lose.
Yeah. Zach, do we have anything on the Patreon today?
Yeah, a bunch of questions.
All right, cool. Unfortunately, we had a power surge this morning, and it somehow has fried our HDMI monitor connection.
It's not
so
nice.
if you want to ask questions of our guest, you just give me the laptop? Okay, cool. We'll do it
We
this
had to do this old school organically.
I know, we had to not look at things. It's just fucking crazy. But if you want to ask questions of our guests,
Steve-O's already on his phone.
I had a second phone down, bro.
He's detoxing.
It's not a commercial break, homie. Come on.
Something.
It's not like Spike. They read the ads in the middle of the show. I can do that shit separately.
Which reminded me, I want to take a picture of my head
if you're gonna be on the goddamn podcast,
and then put it on the side of your car.
if you're gonna be on the podcast, talk into the microphone.
Okay, I'm
We do
very
radio
sorry.
here. We don't fucking lean back
Do
against
not
the wall.
beat the table.
I'm
either.
not going to
Also,
beat the table.
it's
very
I was
easy
just
to
saying
make a
to him, I
custom
want a
sticker.
decal
Very
of my
easy.
face
Yeah.
on the side of Cam's car.
You should. That would be actually very funny. Angry
Angry
Serio.
Anger to Serio.
All right. Lucas says, of course, all our questions, patreon.com/the Smoking Tire Podcast. Lucas says, will the trend of buying six-figure exotics online, sight unseen, continue?
Great
I've
question,
gotten
Lucas.
burned twice.
Yeah. I think it's not going away.
It's not going away. I'm sorry that you got burned twice. There was obviously a deficiency in the description and or the inspection of the car.
Correct.
I think the online part of it is just the tool. You still have to do your due diligence. It's a caveat emptor. Don't believe the person selling you the car.
Unless it's West Side Collector Cars.
And look at the 600
Nice plug.
pictures, do the walk around, and if you're spending six figures on a car, get on a plane and go look at the car.
Or find
send somebody to go-
someone locally.
Right, to do it.
Or find
Yeah.
the really trusted subject matter expert and lay out another $2,000 to have someone really vet it, to do a critical
Friends
pre-purchase
just launched an
inspection.
auction site in the UK called Carhuna.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Got the press release about that.
And they're going after, instead of individual selling cars, dealership selling cars to make their life easier. So there's 8,000 car dealers in the UK, and they're focused on 1,100 of them to participate.
Yeah.
So and they're going after guys with big cars. They're not going after the Toyota dealers. So yeah, it's going to be around for a long time.
I'm amazed that we sell cars on behalf of our clients here. Using Bring a Trailer and Cars and Bids and P-Car and whatnot.
People never show up to look at them.
Yeah, these cars sell and to people who don't come look at them in person, and I'm always shocked.
I am
really
too.
am.
It
What's
blows
the
my
car
mind,
business
yeah.
that just went bust that was selling
Carvana.
cars? Carvana.
Yeah.
But it's like, who would buy a car sight unseen in a
We're
used
just
car?
so used to buying shit online.
Correct. The
We're
psychology-
just
this-
so
the psychology
used-
is totally
now,
changed.
granted,
Yeah.
I
2
think
years ago it
buying
switched.
on, having 200 pictures and scans of service records and the kind of things that those auction sites require is better than a Craigslist ad.
Correct.
But
It's not.
It still hides a
Yeah.
bunch. You can
But
still,
I know so
yeah.
many instances
Not
where a
perfect.
seller is selling something and they can't tell paint work, blend work,
Yeah.
accent. I mean, to the novice person, layman
Yeah.
person, they're not going to be able to tell that.
There's also people who see things that aren't there.
Correct.
Of
in
course.
photos.
Oh, yeah, the ghosts, yeah.
We
Do
had
you
one
guys-
guy.
Are you guys able to, like you said, you can pay an expert to go look at the car?
Right.
Obviously, in person is the best way to do it. But are there things that you can see doing, like a virtual assessment, just looking at the 600 photos on Bring a Trailer, that an astute buyer can't? Or do you think it's always better to fly there and look at it?
I think it's just always better to fly, touch, and feel. I mean, you can see things like that's not an original, whatever, gasket, steering box, whatever.
If you know what to look for.
Yeah, but-
if you don't know what to look for,
Right.
pay the expert.
Pay the expert. Right?
Yeah.
And look for what they're not showing you. If
Right.
there's an omission, like in an auction catalog, if something is not mentioned, it's not mentioned for a reason. Look for the omission, and that's the giveaway to go. That's the first thing you go looking after.
Yeah. Philip LaFranca says, at what time period was Porsche at their best? Their current road cars are fantastic, but was there ever a time when they were better? Interesting.
Well, like
Depends how you have to choose the thing that they may be better or worse at. Like, they're probably the best they've ever been now, but I like the size of the 997 better. So I don't know.
I think they're more revolutionary in the 50s. If you look at what they were building in the 50s until you get to the Gullwing or any 300 SL, they were revolutionary with the 550, the RSKs, the RS61s. I mean, that's, to me, when they were leading the pack on technology, and everybody
Correct.
went, what are these little cars going so quickly?
Everyone else was building
Yeah,
tractors.
why are these 1.6 and 2 liter cars doing so well?
Yeah.
Corey says, is it possible to recoup value in a used car by over caring for it? Locating and keeping all maintenance records, frequent oil changes, using the correct gasoline type, even cool photos of the car during your ownership, etc., etc. It's certainly possible to increase the value of a car by documenting it. And
There's no doubt that you increase value. If you're a fastidious owner and document everything, someone like ourselves in the industry or that potential next owner wants, I mean, it's an easier sell. Oh,
Yeah.
here's all the service records. Here's
Yeah.
here's the photos. Yeah.
Corey, you're on the right
But
track.
there is a balance. Like
Yeah.
beyond a certain point, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
You know,
It's an increasing liability at some point.
Right. Like for instance, if you spend, let's just call it, I don't know, let's call it, you spend $2,000 refinishing all the wheels.
Yeah, no, that's.
But it only returns maybe $1,000 or $1,500 in increased value. So there's a balance for sure.
Right.
But the stuff that is free or cheap, do as much of that as you can.
100%.
Those nerds that write down like every time they
when
put
they have
gas.
when they have the diary and like mile 14.
Yeah, you want to sell an
diary's
old,
good.
you want to sell an old car, have it come with a logbook of every time you put gas in it,
I
and
love
where you
those
get
guys.
the gas.
Yeah.
I mean that
It's fewer to run into those these days.
Yeah.
I love those cars.
Yeah, those nerds are not. They're not around so much anymore, right?
They're always engineers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the brain that does that.
Yeah.
Michael Cosgrove says Cam has stated his interest in winning overall at Pebble Beach with a Ferrari restoration.
Wow, Michael.
Does that mean he thinks that a Porsche will not ever achieve that honor?
Where did
If
you
so,
get that
why not?
inside baseball? Where did he get that? Did
I
you
was
announce that?
I was recently on the buy, hold, sell for Sports Car Market Letter.
yeah.
So thanks for listening to that, Michael. You know, I'm obviously a Porsche. I'm a Porsche man through and through, but
Apparently not.
apparently not. But I do think the trend of Pebble Beach and pre-war cars winning the overall. There's only been a couple instances. John Shirley with the last Ferrari with the sports car that won, and I do think it's going to have to be a limited edition Ferrari to win Pebble Beach. I think it would probably be a Porsche. Potentially, if it were to win, it would be a historic race car. I just don't know if Pebble can do that.
It doesn't work with the term elegance.
Elegance, and that's the real challenge.
That's the real hook. That it's something there still has to be very elegant.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is that because just the focus? I mean, Concorde de Elegance, like that's why Mercedes wins because they've always focused on luxury versus performance.
Yep.
Even though performance has become a byproduct almost.
It still has to look just like swooningly elegant. It still has to have that element.
But it's not to say that the tide's turning because we've competed there so many times with Porsches and the form and function aspect of the Porsche DNA, all the reasons that make Porsche so great. It's something different on the field because you have all these angular
You could get a
things.
class win with a Porsche,
Yes,
right?
yes.
For sure.
Yeah, we've done that
Yeah.
multitude of times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially with something like a 904 or something that's not a 356.
Yeah.
Prashant says, how closely does a Miata actually mimic the driving experience of a classic sports car?
That's a great question.
If you're talking about like an MG or a Triumph or an Austin Healey, like reasonably close, actually.
correct.
Even an old Lotus Elan.
Yeah,
I mean, sure.
Reasonably close.
Yeah.
Power to weight, a little nimble.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. We already answered. Steve, will you please share your thoughts on the Aston Martin Virage? I think we've already covered that. Meh has two questions, and I'm choosing the more interesting of the two. I have a low mileage 997 turbo, thinking about getting out of it and into a 355 Ferrari. Thoughts on that trade from a value and fun perspective?
The fun perspective is great. The service perspective is a nightmare.
355 is a very fragile car. They always have been. And
Especially a Spider.
Oh, geez. I mean, we're going through that now with a couple of clients that have them. And
God damn, do they drive good.
They drive
I mean,
great
they're
when they're
awesome.
on,
Fun,
but
fun
don't.
as fuck to drive.
And great looking,
Yeah.
obviously.
There comes a point where it's the oh Jesus moment when, whether it's valves or, I mean, pick the weak point of the engine. It was just never engineered as robustly as it should have been. Fun, yeah. If you had two brand new examples with no mileage on them,
But he couldn't
it's
have one of the
fun.
He couldn't have one of the best turbos. I mean, that you could own that car for the rest of your life. And
Here's the secret: 1994 348 GTS.
oh,
It's almost all the way to a 355,
Right.
but it doesn't have the crazy
The valves and the belts.
it has manual steering.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that 90s power steering.
Try to find a good one.
I know.
That's the problem.
It'll cost you.
Yeah.
But it'll cost you almost as much as a 355. But
They were orphaned for a long time.
but that's the secret. Okay.
I do love a 355 though.
Good
Being a
looking.
90s kid, I'm like, oh,
Coupe is a great looking car. I love the coupe.
Screams too.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Luke Talion says, I may have a career opportunity that takes me all over the Middle East for years at a time and then back to the U.S. I'm getting free shipping to the Middle East for a vehicle of my choice. I'd love to have something unique to drive around the Middle East and then sell over there before I come back to the U.S. $60,000 budget. What should I buy? What is the most popular vehicle, affordable in the U.S., and expensive or unobtainium in that part of the world? Currently thinking a 2016 GT350 Shelby. It's actually a pretty good choice.
That's actually a really great
pretty good choice.
I think he's dialed in on that.
That's a good choice.
That's something over there they're going to be like, whoa, that's...
Yeah.
Because those people have everything they've ever wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a broad stroke of the entire Middle East, but depending on where you're going, you either need a pickup truck with a gun mounted on it, or you're going to a very wealthy part of the world where they discard cars instead of trading them in. They leave them.
Or there would be a number
One thing you don't want to do is bring a car back here from the Middle East. Fuck that.
That's where I thought he was going. Like, what should I bring back?
Well, what's good about bringing a car there is if you get a car here that's got like really good service records and all that stuff, and then you're the only person who owns it over there, that's a leg up over all the garbage that everyone else is selling over there.
I think he nailed it with that, though.
I think Habibi came up with a great,
350.
Can you service that engine over there? Like,
it's a Ford.
Right.
Gotta be.
They have Ford dealers.
It had some problems. So
there's a lot of Corvettes you could open up to for that price
range. A lot of Corvettes or
1.
a 2015 Camaro Z28 also, which has a rarity element to it.
I would take the wife beaters and put them in the car as well.
Yeah.
and a copy of the
a real
Transformers movie.
Yeah. Lots of fucking Transformers
Cheeto stains on it.
Yeah.
And fingers.
But, I mean, that's a car that would be nice to road trip around in and could be pretty cool.
The Blonde Group Road Scholars Edition Cheeto stains.
That's a livery. There's your livery for Joey's car.
Yeah. Cheeto stains on both sides of the car. Fingers.
Like are those tiger stripes or Cheeto stains?
Cheeto stains.
All right. Here's ZC. $60,000 to $75,000 budget. I live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Use a car for weekend fun drives. Should I buy, or would you recommend, 3 choices here. A solid 964 with a recent top end, assuming means a Carrera 2.
Yeah.
B, a decent 993, or C, a 996 turbo with a stick.
I would go 996 turbo.
996 turbo with a stick, says Cam.
Well, I'm more of a fan of the 993 because it's a softer ride, and if you're in Brooklyn, and I guess the caveat is I assume you have a parking space inside somewhere. I think I would go with the softer ride. Cam would go with the
I'd definitely do
faster
993
car.
over the 964.
I'd probably go 993 also.
Yeah.
Good balance of usability and fun.
Even the 993 RS that we have in this auction that I used to own, it's absolutely fine on the roads in Boston, and the roads suck.
Yeah. Okay. Good option. Let's see. Jake says, Cam, are there any recreations or clones of, quote, plastic Porsches from the sports prototype golden era that have caught your eye as an expert on the originals? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the 910 recreation, which sold on Bring a Trailer for $225,000. Seems like a bargain, relatively speaking. The builder appeared similar to the level of Persang Types 35s.
Yes, he's right.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I saw that auction, and I was not aware of that builder, but building something very accurate and authentic in terms of the construction and materials. And if you've had the fortune of driving a 904, 906, and 910, the 910 is such an evolution over the 906 that's a really fun experience. Now, that's a chunk of change, $200,000, but that's an amazing experience to have, and one of the best prototype cars ever built. That would be the prototype car I would own. Yeah. Out of all the prototypes, that would be the 910 is the perfect balance of everything.
Wholeheartedly agree with that. The suspension's better developed, the wheels, the brakes, everything about it is.
There used to be a company in England, and I'm blanking, that made those 904s that were right on the dot. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because Clarkey had one.
Yeah.
Not Beck.
No.
They make a fantastic 904 replica from 3 feet. You can't
Really?
tell.
Yeah, I mean, it's very genuine to the original design.
And they're about $500,000 done. They're, I think probably
For a
600
replica
for a
904?
replica
yeah,
904.
yeah. And you can put a 2.7. Guys put 2.7s in them. They put
What's a real 904 worth?
lots.
Well, you got to for a great one, you got to get into the high twos and then go right up to the most anybody's ever spent for one is the number starts with a 5. So it's
man, $500,000 for something that ain't real. That would fucking be tough for
my
me.
bigger question about the replica 910 is what are you going to do with it? If you just want to drive it around and
race it at the fucking members meeting.
Yeah, I mean
probably.
But I think they're starting to do away with that.
festivals.
They're starting to do away with that stuff. You know, like Monterey Historics is getting away from that. You know, you got to bring the real car.
I asked some British folks about that, and I was like, "What percentage of GT40s racing at Goodwood are real?" He's like, zero.
Same with the Ferrari.
Same with the Ferrari.
The GTO that crashed a couple of years ago. It's a complete clone of the car the guy has in his garage.
This one is for Steve. Very specific. I grew up in Metro Boston, and your dealership was always on my car spotting loop when I was in high school. I loved your tucked away location, but I thought it was unconventional for a business that would seem to benefit from foot traffic. How did you end up being located there, and did that low-key location impact your new Aston and Lotus business not being in a super visible commercial location at a time when online media was not what it is now?
That's a great question.
You hit the nail right on the head where I think if you're local to Boston and you know the Route 1 auto mile where the new dealer, where I sold my business, where that's gone to, I think we benefited from lack of foot traffic because it was a destination, and for my salesman's sanity, we did not have a lot of time wasters coming in who might have been enthusiasts, and time wasting can be derogatory, but it's like, hey, we're not here to be a museum and you look around all you want and have a great time. No, you can't take a car for a test drive and you're 16 years old, and no, on a Saturday we don't want you coming in with ice cream and sitting in the cars. And so we were purposely insulated.
I relate to all of this. When I was a kid, I was that person, and
we weren't open on Saturdays until the Elise came out, because the Elise was a Saturday buyer, and
That's
we purposely
interesting.
were closed on Saturdays and Sundays because most of the people who wanted to buy an Aston would send their assistant over or would come over after hours at night, would not take their time out in the middle of the day, and would find us.
Yeah.
Did it impact business? Well, most of my business was still in the classic car world, so no, it didn't. And it certainly didn't impact the service department, which was always slammed.
Yeah.
I hope we were kind to you when you came in.
Well, there's just, you're selling expensive cars. It's not a lot of people just walk by and decide, hey, I'm going to buy a $300,000 car today. It's not. These are not intersecting circles.
Yeah, Aston hated it. They approved our location, then they hated it, and for a very short period, we were almost an Aston Ferrari dealer. And Ferrari was okay with the location. They just wanted us to build another standalone building across the street. It was like, well, that doesn't pencil out.
That happened with Miller Motor Cars in Connecticut.
Greenwich, They're in that beautiful old building forever,
which was Luigi Cinetti's building.
That's right.
But they made them put the other brands in other buildings. They wouldn't let them sell other brands
Couldn't
out
share
of that
a wall.
building. That building is cool as fuck. I love the Miller Motor Cars building. The wood floor in the service department. Come on. That shit is OG.
You could live in that building.
I love that place. I interned there when I was a young kid.
Really?
I washed cars in their lots.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So did you know the Koppelmans already?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's where my Vanquish came from, too.
Of course, because they ordered all of Ralph's cars.
Yeah,
so that's
and
right.
then their like main Bugatti guy now, Evan Seigler, when he was 14, he interned for me at my car wash. And when I met that kid, I was like, this kid is going to move units. And he's now the biggest Bugatti salesman in the country.
He's got the
Miller.
He's got the touch.
He does.
He's also
and the Rolodex.
The concentric circle in the middle of where all the money is in that part of the world.
Yeah, right. 100%.
Which also helps.
Also true.
That one block in Greenwich is just like
fishing at Salmon Farm.
Yeah.
An automatic weapon.
That's great. That's
I wrote a
great.
book about how to sell cars. I was like, well, put an asterisk on that book.
Okay. last one. The other ones are kind of we'll save for the cruise show. Ryan says, as a Porsche-phile who drove my first group of Ferraris recently and once again fell in love, I feel a strong difference in sensation and driving experience between the two brands.
Yeah.
But I love both and felt that both brands seemed to stay close to their opus. Nice use of opus.
Oh, it was very nice.
How would you differentiate
word.
the two brands?
How would you differentiate them?
How would you
Cameron,
differentiate
start there.
Ferrari and Porsche?
You know, every time I drive a Ferrari, the sound of it is really intoxicating. The sound of any of the V8s, and they're just intoxicating. It's hard to, and it's just such a, everything about it is different, but the seating position, if you've driven a lot of Porsches, it's a special experience because of the sound of Maranello.
Yeah.
And to me, I appreciate both brands. I love both brands. I'm a Porsche guy, but I think obviously we were talking a lot about serviceability and usability. Oftentimes, a Porsche 911 of any generation is something you can easier to hop into and drive 2 hours or 3 hours, and you don't completely worn out when you get to that location. Maybe not as a visceral experience, but obviously a more usable thing.
Yeah.
So
Porsche, they thought about ergonomics.
Ergonomics, yes.
And it's not that the flat engines don't sound good. Many of them do.
Right.
But it was not at the forefront of their priorities.
Right.
Ferrari, it was sound good,
Yep.
look good,
design from the outside.
everything else is deeply secondary. I mean, the ergonomics of my 328 are fucking laughable compared to a G-body Porsche of the same period.
You've defined both countries with their product.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got...
Porsche does things that they attempt to do things the quote right way objectively. Ferrari's like, no, this is our way.
But you don't mess with the Tifosi. That's one thing I've learned.
No, I mean, Ferrari, it was always about the racing first, the cars second, and the cars back in the day, the manufacturing of the cars fed the racing.
Yeah.
And there's the difference in the companies.
Totally two different mindsets.
Yeah, two different mindsets, and that's why I've owned Ferraris, I've owned Porsches, and I'm slanted much more German now later in life because I don't want to deal with the bullshit of owning an old Ferrari, which is hard for a car from the 50s or 60s if you're going to use it all the time. Yeah. And stuff is going to break. But beauty-wise, it's really hard to argue that Porsche has made more beautiful cars. I mean, they just different. I mean, they're more masculine, I suppose, and the Ferraris can be more delicate and gorgeous. It's a difference between, I'm trying to think of who was the beautiful German skater, the woman years ago, 20 years ago, Olympics. It doesn't matter.
Oksana Bayul?
No. I was going to make like a Monica Bellucci versus the German athlete.
Yeah,
woman.
I don't know.
There's the difference.
She was Ukrainian, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It's the only person I can think of.
Olga Corbett?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is great. Sidetrack.
I don't know if you get up to the 80s though. I think the Ferraris are pretty usable if you use them.
Yes, if you use them.
If you use them. Mine is, now that I've done everything on mine. Yeah. I've taken 2 900-mile road trips in it, and it's ace.
The best.
It's ace.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
But same thing. I mean, the usability and bulletproof nature of Porsche. If you buy a G-body car and it has 200,000 miles on it, you better hope someone was methodical about servicing it because it is equally a money pit.
True.
Dude, the Ferrari, my 328 costs the same to maintain as my G-body Carrera.
There you go.
Fundamentally. Yeah, the parts cost, the labor cost is about the same, and the engine doesn't have to come out.
And that's a sweet spot, as we talked about before, when you were looking for it. That's a sweet spot car. Yeah. The 328, you couldn't give me a 308 really, because they're just not that quick. And the cars after that are much more fragile. And that 328 feels fast. Period.
It feels quick when you run it. Yeah.
It makes a great noise. Yeah. I mean, the sound is fantastic.
And it's a lot of fun. It's fun at regular people speeds. Yeah. Which I really enjoy.
Closing the door is not un-Porsche-like. I mean, that's a solid feel.
It's not quite as good. Yeah, the Porsche door slam is like, you go, oh, yeah, well, this is
Isn't it funny, the older you get, regular people speeds is more compelling? Like when you drive a car and driving slow cars fast, that's really the ticket.
Especially...
We get used to driving fast, too. We're like, all right, we've done that. We've done the crazy things. We're driving really fast. And like we talked about earlier with your adrenaline, like the threshold keeps going up.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, to get that charge or get that drug, you're going way too fast for the street, so you find other ways to enjoy the cars.
100%.
I'm looking for a sensation of engagement more than I am looking for a speed.
There's
there's got to be
100%
something
right.
oral about it. There really has to be. Second time I use the word authentic about it, where you go, that's memorable.
Yeah,
that is really memorable, and I look forward to doing it, even if I'm driving for 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's a nice treat.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in, guys.
Hey,
Thank
thanks
you.
for having
show.
us.
Good to see you.
Thanks
Thanks for letting
guys.
me do
Good
it.
to see you
Thanks
as
for
always.
letting us insinuate ourselves upon your.
Look, I
space area.
don't know everybody's fucking travel schedule. There's people who come to town. They don't tell me they're coming to town, and then they're gone. And they go, "Well, we could have done a show." It's like, well, at least you tell me when you're coming to town.
You mean you're not stalking our Instagram, bro?
Appreciate that. I do, but I didn't know you were here.
Calendar.
But that's amazing about the new Pikes Peak car. That's very cool.
Thanks.
Car seems like it's fast as fuck.
Excited.
Can't wait to see what color you wrap it in.
Pink.
Should be fun. Pink?
Frozen berry.
Are you? Sick. That'd be sick. You should.
Is there any sponsorship dollars? Because I'm a hoe. I'll be like,
Sponsored by TST. And Susan B. Komen.
Dude, we can't even get an HDMI port to work right now.
I know. We can.
Your dad's got a cord problem. You have a cord problem. There's a theme here.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
There's a real theme with the cord issues, man.
Of course, if
Jesus.
you have a Porsche vintage that needs restoration work, Road Scholars is the place for that. You also have inventory that you're selling, and they've got stands at events and all kinds of stuff. If you see Road Scholars, you know it's good shit. And Serio, if you want to buy a fucking real shadily titled car,
That's great.
Boy, could we tell you a story that we can't
Oh,
right
we
now.
I wish we could.
Man,
There's so many
lack
stories.
of title car, but anyway.
oh no, Serio's Title Bonds is your new business.
It should be.
The number of
bond
times
room.
I've talked up title bonds with people recently is like, I've had this conversation 5 or 6 times about title bonds. I don't know why. But of course, the Real Bond Group on Instagram has
you, Matt.
nothing to do with title bonds.
No, or James Bond for
or
that
James
matter.
Bonds.
Rare, the rarest stuff.
Other than your Aston Martin connection, which... If there's not a new James Bond film, like what is Vantage Magazine going to be about?
Correct. That's kind of funny.
They're never going to stop.
It's true.
Every issue of Vantage Magazine.
They're gonna have to come
Which
out. They're-
TV5 are we talking about from what era film?
Exactly.
Even the ones with the BMW guts in them from the last movie.
Yeah. And we were supposed to have Sung, Kang, and Amelia on yesterday. We unfortunately had to bump the show. Sung got tied up because of the WGA strike. Through the writer's strike in Hollywood. Yeah. Sung is an actor in The Fast and the Furious. He plays Han.
Yeah.
And he's a friend. He was going to come in and do it, but he had to do a whole bunch of other shit because this writer's strike is throwing his life into turmoil.
I bet.
Seems
He
to
seems
be
like a cool dude,
thing
isn't
that
he?
happens.
Oh, he's the coolest. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He's really, really cool.
This strike is not the first time
It's not.
Yeah. And
So the last time they did it was the DVD thing. It was like 10, 15 years ago.
I think it was 12
They
years
did a
ago.
strike
yeah.
to get residual money from DVD sales because DVD sales were huge. So
Yeah,
now
now I
it's
think it
about
has to do with streaming.
streaming.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
so-
won our piece. We
Yeah.
wrote this.
Yeah.
I mean, they should get their piece.
I'm pro WGA on this one.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
should get their fucking
Oh,
piece.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right. Back in that awful infinity for you guys. I'll pull it around for you.
Thanks.
Do not thank Avis.
Yeah.
Rental car hell.
We'll see the rest of y'all next week. Bye.